nest of thoughts, watching your every move. I'm obsessed with you. Twisted thoughts erupting and slowly decaying. My jealousy, my envy is tearing me apart. A wicked man and his wicked deeds,
masquerading as a child
a
of
monster
light.
with his cruel needs, as he dances with his sick fantasy.
What is done in the dark will always be brought to light.
Slithering around the murky green swamp, voodoo priests enchanting the dance, making deals in the dark. The laughing spirits and all that they hunt. A wicked man and his wicked deeds,
masquerading as a child
a
of
monster
light.
with his cruel needs, as he dances with his sick fantasy.
What is done in the dark will always be brought to light.
A foul smell in the air, potions fill my lair, deception lurking and waiting, with envy in my eye. My spirits ascend to spy. Voodoo is the ritual, odor fills the room, smoke-stained walls, and the energy is gloom. A wicked man and his wicked deeds,
Masquerading as a child
a
of
monster
light.
with his cruel needs, as he dances with his sick fantasy.
What is done in the dark will always be brought to light.
Twisting the truth, for there is none in me. Weaving dark magic all through the night. Tears of envy, my jealousy ignites. Darkness encasing a lie in the night. My lying tongue grows fatter with every deceitful breath. My soul is rotting and it tastes like death. A wicked man and his wicked deeds,
Masquerading as a child
a
of
monster
light.
with his cruel needs, as he dances with his sick fantasy.
What is done in the dark will always be brought to light.
The cloaked deceit, this is my life, I'm doomed to repeat. A treacherous heart, envy growing in me. I wish I was you, with everything that I do. A wicked man and his wicked deeds,
Masquerading as a child
a
of light.
monster with his cruel needs, as he dances with his sick fantasy.
What is done in the dark will always be brought to light.
Reaching out to the filthiest of scum, wishing I was him, not the man I become. The sickness in me, I'm a lunatic disease. Traitors and manipulators, part of my flock. We twist the truth and dance in the dark. The flames of hell are licking my feet.
Good will prevail. You will all fail.
Welcome to Paranormal Roundtable. I'm your host, Josh Turner, and this is our Friday edition of Paranormal Roundtable. So I'm happy to be here. I got to tell you, I'm excited because this is 35,000 people. 5 years ago, we would have been like, happy to have, 10, 15, whatever. But now 35. It's a blessing. It's really a blessing. I had a lot of good things happen. Now today, I got to tell you something before I get started, and I bring on my esteemed co-host. I got to tell you, um, your prayers prayed for my business partner. He moved around today, and he walked, and he was doing better. And I have to say, he's like I said, he's like my dad. I love him dearly. We've been working together for almost 17 years. A lot of ups and downs. A lot of ups and downs. We've lost money. We've made money. And we've been together through thick and thin. And I had a long conversation with his daughter today. Very, very sweet girl. He's uh, very close with his children. I worked with his son too. He used to work with us, and his wife Sandy. They're all good people. And it's just blessed to have had this man in my life to help me. He's been like a dad to me for the past almost decade, over a decade and a half, almost 2 decades. And yeah, he had to have triple bypass. And so, I'm very pleased that he's up and moving around. Thank God. Thank God. Because I don't know what I'd do without him in my life. It's just, he's been, like I said, a mentor and a dad, a good, positive mentor, which I've only had a couple of those. I had other mentors that taught me negative things. Um, things that helped me in my life, but it wasn't correct. It wasn't, and there've been a couple that I've been, um, yeah. One of those mentors, I actually ran into his son. His son works at the bank. I couldn't believe it. Shout out to his son, Amir. I was like, I worked with your dad. I used to, work for him, and he was a good guy. He was one of the first people that ever sat me down and told me, "Hey, you have anger problems. You need to change. You need to be this and that." And then I learned a lot about this, about administration and business and things from the partner that I'm with now. He took a chance on a guy that was, you know, the way I was, and he's like, "You're a little high strung." He goes, "You're a young guy, but you need to focus." And I learned a lot. 31, I started working with him. 31, and so I did cry today because the thought of losing him in my life was it was hard. But a lot of blessings, a lot of good things. I met some good people today, some nice people. Um, you know, Remember I told you guys about the patrol car situation, whatever. Well, we got it remedied. We got another one. So it's like it's good. And that one was ready to go anyway. We were, it's old and it doesn't. And so they destroyed it. You destroyed something. And of all the cars you picked to choose and to vandalize and break and destroy and be ugly, you did the one you did us a favor. You did us a favor by totaling that thing. Thank you for just destroying it like that. That was cute. But people do what they do, and we're not going to let them stop us. It's 35,000 subscribers. So we have all the Patreon stuff right there in the next room, ready to be mailed off tomorrow, right? So you're going to have everything mailed off, but we're going to have several more people to add to that. And I'm so happy to do that because I want everybody to be happy. So tonight we're going to give away just a bunch of stuff. All right. DJ Tyler Radio, congratulations on 35,000 subscribers. I love Paranormal Roundtable so much. It has changed my life. And why am I not able to make this? There we go. Let me see. Here we go. There it is. He says, it has changed my life. I love the Paranormal Roundtable family and all the paratroopers. Please click the thumbs up button, family, and subscribe. Praying for you. Thank you. Let's bring on ladies first. Let's bring on Monica. Monica, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. Let me put my earbuds in so I can hear you. Beautiful as ever. Not as beautiful as Joe. I got to say, Joe's a hot guy.
He's got that silky hair going on, so I can't compete with that.
I can't hear anything here. Let me see if I got the volume is not up or something. Hold on one second, Monica. I'm not able to hear you.
Uh-oh.
Can't got no sound here. Say something.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. There we go.
Mhm.
I'm just been a lot of stuff going on today.
I
So, the other
understand.
thing that happened today was I got contacted by a producer,
Oh,
and that's always nice. And then the guy is a little high strung.
they
But
can
he
be.
was like
Yeah.
talking like, "Hey, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that." And I'm like, "Hey, chill out. Let's do this." Before I don't know because I'm so somebody actually reached out and said that but this is what they want me to do. Now get this, and I always I make a joke out of this. I shouldn't, but they want me to be somebody else. They said they like one of the characters that I do, and they want me to be that character.
What? What?
And the guy's nice. Shout out to you, Steven. I'm not going to say anything else, but
Well,
he he wants me to be a character, and I'm like, you want me to be a character? Like, and Abe, there you are, and Joe, good people. Here for my 35,000 subs, and we hit it a couple days ago, but I was so glad that you guys could be here with me to do this. When I was telling Monica that this guy messaged me today, I looked at it, and a good friend of ours, Abe, you okay?
There
One
you
of
go.
the DDNs coming at you, bro. For
All
real.
right.
So this guy messaged me today, and he says, I want you to do, but you're going to be on a show, but you need to be a character. So there are two characters he liked. He said he liked the Dogman Whisperer, the one that garroted me on Sunday, right? And then he wanted me to be Pastor Jack. He said he liked that one a lot, and I said, well, no. Because that would be not me. That's not who I am. I'm not Pastor Jack, and I'm not the Dogman Whisperer. So that would be a lie. I told him, I said, I can't do that. I can't do that. And then they wanted me to take people's stories that I don't know where they get them, but somebody's going to write these or something. I don't know. And then I'm supposed to do them in those voices. And I'm like, where are the stories coming from?
don't worry
And he
about
goes,
that.
and then they would have to approve like the stories that people send me for me to tell. Because he said that he's watched a lot of my shows, and most of them he likes the material, but he says some of those we could change and do some other things. I said that's not, how does that work?
Yeah.
Not putting him on the spot or anything. And I don't know I didn't get all the details. I didn't have time to talk to him all day, but so that's going to be a hard no. I wish you luck in your endeavors, but that's not me.
That's very that's been my experience with producers and networks and all of that is, I like what's going on here. I remember so I was in the running for the Bigfoot Bounty TV show. Thank God I didn't get it. But I mean, I got to the very end. Like I was sequestered in a hotel in LA. I had to go through psychological evaluations and IQ tests, all this crazy stuff. And I met with the producer, and they were like, we like you. You were like, we like what's going on, but what would you do? Like they were basically trying to get me to say that I would fake evidence and cheat and do all this other stuff. Like,
Yeah, that is the linchpin right there.
Yeah,
Because you have to be willing to be lacquered, and I'm just not that guy. I'm not that dude, and I'm not going to do it, man. Because I would betray my audience, I would betray my colleagues, I would betray my family, myself, and standing on your principles is important to me. And faking evidence is not something I'm willing to do.
Goodness no! Oh my gosh!
No.
Yeah.
This guy didn't ask me to fake evidence. He just said that they were going to be in control of the stories. And now here's the thing. He didn't say they were fake. When I asked him where they were coming from, I didn't get a response from that. But like I said before, respectfully decline, because I think that I have a good thing going here, and we all are together as a family. And that's important to me, the syndication that I was offered, I can do that at any time. I'm trying, but I have a lot to do right now. I have a lot to do. I am like, and now that I've committed to this other book, I'm like, I think this is important. Nellie and I have been just talking, and we've been like, something comes up and I'm like, write that down. Let's write this down. And then we sit there and we go over it. So it's going to be a joint effort between me and her. As much as I would like to say it's all me, I can't say that. It's a lot of it's hers. She comes up with a lot of great ideas. I try to stifle her creativity and push it down and stomp on it and destroy it because, I'm a man and I deserve to be on top of this situation. I'm kidding, folks. I'm totally kidding. That's another soundbite for my enemies. They'll be like, here it is proof that he is a chauvinistic and he's a misogynist. Blah, 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 blah. You know, and look at his friend Joe. He's got a tattoo where he's just they're all just satanic, and you know,
And they'll find something anywhere.
They'll have some kind of. Somebody said something about Jordan yesterday. They said in the show with the Blondes and Booze that Christopher Jordan gets things done without scandal, and I'm like, am I the scandalous one you're talking about? Oh my gosh.
Oh,
He does. I mean, Jordan's great. I love Jordan, you know, and I'm glad that he got the compliment, but they had to take a swipe, you know. They couldn't just say, Jordan, you're great. You do a great job. And without this guy, the way he does things is horrible. He's a mean, nasty guy. But that's fine. They do what they do. They say what they do. So Brother Heck here starts it off. He says, I have a question, Wolf. Do you think there are good, humane vampires that don't kill people and get their blood ethically? No. Vampire, by its very name, by the very nature of what they are parasites. So it doesn't matter what kind of vampire you're talking about. They could be the nicest vampire in the world. They're still a vampire.
A blood bank vampire.
There's good demons, right? Those demons, there's some demons that are just kind of cool. You know, we feed them and we leave food out for them. And, you know, they just kind of come around the ranch and we just hang out, you know. What the hell are you doing? You know, good demons. Ain't that right, Abe? You go to Elms Grove. Well, I need to talk to the good demons. What are the good ones? They're all waving their hands. We're all good. I just want a little drink.
Just take them some food at the way by the picnic table where the swing sets are. They'll come out, take some food for them.
Exactly. Why are you not gifting them?
There's no such thing as a good demon. I'll tell you that.
There's bad and badder. That's it.
Not through my experiences. You know, they're freaking. They can mimic. Man, I guess the worst experience I had was when the dog was barking outside, and I went to go see who was outside, and I seen a woman sitting on my neighbor's bench. You know, he had a patio. She was looking at me, and the light was on. We're looking at this woman. Then when I go by the fence to get closer, she walks down the patio, and she looks at me, and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, "There's no way," you know. So I'll go into prayer. The reason I say there's no way because it was in the form of my mother, and my mother. It's like in 2015, and my mom had been deceased in 1985.
Wow.
So they know how to mess with you. They go for the jugular, you know, because they know they'll go for wherever you have some kind of pain or something. They target. They're very evil. They know how to target. So that's why I went into prayer. You know, I rebuked it. Imagine rebuking something that manifested to look like your mom. You start rebuking the name of Jesus Christ, and he takes off. And you start following, he just disappears in thin air. Yeah, they're very spiritual real. They know how to mess with you. If they can mimic somebody that you love, they can mimic the voices, you know. That's why I fight the good fight. You know, it's like if I can help somebody that's going through something, you know, I'm going to help them get rid of the demonic force.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, of course, there's people that believe in that follow that side of the balance. I try to help out as many people as possible, but you know, you can only help so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're only one person.
Yeah, but yeah, it hurts, man. Like, you know, you remember the hurt you had when you lose a loved one, and then when they want to mess with you like that, and then they took chicken to fight. They won't fight you like physically. They just disappear. You know, I just fucked. Excuse my language. I just messed with his mind. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but I rebuked it. You know, that's how evil they are. So if you get upset, that's the spirit's opening to attack you. I think that's what he was trying to do. Either for me to do that or to say, "Hey, mom," you know.
Right.
And then that's it. Boom.
We get stories like that. People who think that their mother or their father or their aunt and uncle. We talked about one the other day. You know, with somebody was appearing, and I told her, I said, "That's not who you think it is. That is a false image." And they can do that. Like I've said this before about the episode with the haunted tower. I saw this wolf-like being that looked like what I saw, but it wasn't as tall, but it looked identical. And I was like, that's not correct, because I'm in this building. There's nothing that's not, it was a mimic. And that thing could mimic voices. Like I was on the phone with the field captain on the 2A radio when he came down. We had a radio where you could, and the next day I heard my conversation. Like, it was one of the things that happened to me pretty regularly in there. I heard the field captain's voice, and I heard myself talk back to them, and I was like, what?
Oh,
It was on that same floor. So you had a situation where these things can like just mimic voices. They can mimic like just all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's crazy. Who was that, Joe? Was that your wife?
Yes, it was.
Well, when they manifest, like you can see right through it, and you'll be able to see the true nature of the manifestation, what's behind the manifestation. Because as I started praying, it started breaking the manifestation. I seen the demonic entity that was manifesting to look like her. That's why when I started talking, it took off. Started fighting it spiritually. I first started fighting with the deliverance prayer, the Our Father. But then when he was walking, he still had a smile on his face. It was weird because it never kept. It always was smiling at me.
That's creepy. Next creepy.
Freaking heck is that? Okay, there's nobody in this building right now. Nobody at all. No one. Like, Anthony just left. He went to go get something to eat. So I'm completely alone in this. It's a big, like a plaza, right? And right now I hear like a thumping, banging noise below me.
Oh.
And there's nobody. I walked through here earlier because I came in earlier today and talked, and I was in the office and had to talk with the landlord about the leak or whatever had happened. And I said that because they're putting on they're getting a new roof put on or whatever. And they gave me a huge discount on this place because of the roof situation. And I figured, hey, you know what? As long as there's no black mold up there, and we got it checked, and then there's a leak or whatever, they're gonna fix it. I mean, they gave me like a huge discount on.
Oh, that's
and I like this place. I wanted to be here, but I hear weird noises here. And then one night we were all walking in, and we saw a shadow move by itself, completely independently. We thought it was a person, and it was a shadow. It was a shadow person, whatever. And we were like dumbfounded. We were just sitting there like, wow, that just happened. And then the other night, my nephew and my wife came up here to get some stuff out of the storage, and they heard somebody outside screaming and yelling like they were in the plaza, and they went out there and they didn't see anybody. So my wife was just like, shut up. And she said it stopped. So maybe telling the ghosts or demons, whatever, to shut up, maybe it helped. I don't know. But so Joe, yeah. I like your hat, Monica. What is that? What is your hat? What is it?
Something about Grand Adventure. It's my husband's hat. I just stole it.
Wow. Like always, my wife does the same thing with everything: vehicles, hats, underwear.
This is his shirt.
She doesn't wear my underwear. She's at home going like, "What?" She can fit her whole body in mine. She's like, "What are you talking about?" But no, what's crazy though, that it's weird because it's got that kind of weird spade, like
an arrowhead.
Yeah, I got a story from a guy who does security, because since my business partner's been in the hospital, the schedule kind of got whacked out. So now we're having to do help do half the patrol, to get it done. So I got to be on the patrol about 2:00 or something, But there was a story I got from somebody who told me they were on patrol and they saw, and then now we had a person come on the show and talk about one of these beings. Her name was Anna Choate, and this guy, his name is JJ, but he told me, he says, dude, he goes, I saw this being that had this weird, like, how the spade looks on a playing card.
Yeah.
He said that its head looked like that. And that he came around the corner at one of our properties. He used to work with us. He goes, we used to have that. He's at another company now, but he says that he goes, there was a story. He gave it to me. And he said that he was going around and checking the pool at one of the sites that we actually do every night now. And so I read that this afternoon, and I was like, what the hell? It's like, great, dude. So he says this weird being that had like a spade-like head, and it was like floating. And he said that it came around the other side of the pool. He thought it was a person, and he looked, and there was no legs. He thought it was a costume. He said, and then it just started kind of vibrating, and it just kind of like it was gone.
That's crazy.
And so he had asked to be pulled off of that route, and this was about 2 years ago. And my business partner was in charge of that route at that time. I am now, but because we the company it's too big. Like one person, we can't just be one person. We divided it up. You know, you do one side, I do the other. And so I'm doing that part now. But when he told me that, he said that he had gone to my business partner and told him, hey, I don't want to be on this route anymore. And so he was going to take him off of it, but we didn't have anybody else. And eventually he stopped going to that property because of what he saw. And I don't blame him.
Sure.
But you can't do the patrol if you don't do the whole thing. So he eventually went to another company. And then he had another encounter with something not like that, but something else. And I told him, I said, dude, you know, when you have these encounters, sometimes you're marked. You can see them.
Yeah.
You know, before we get started, I wanted Monica to finish up and talk about some things. You were talking about some interesting things last night on your show. So I was going to give you the floor, but I wanted to tell you guys a crazy story. This is not paranormal, but I got this one the other day and I thought it was really amazing. This guy's he's a pretty cool dude. His family's from Europe and in Eastern Europe, and they're very well off. Not him. Like he said, not me. I house sit for my aunt and uncle. But in Florida, people's pools, you know, like so his family's got this really large swimming pool that he can swim like laps back and forth. And he says it's not quite the size of an Olympic swimming pool, but this is not paranormal, but it is freaky and creepy. And if it would scare the crap out of me. I can tell you that. But he was swimming in the pool and he goes, I get toward the middle of the pool and I see movement below me. He says, but they have this dark blue, kind of like I would say the blue kind of behind me is like that dark blue, you know? The way he described it was a dark navel. Well, now it's not, it changed, but the dark navel blue. And he says it's painted that way. So you can't really see real good on the bottom. And he goes, and I see something move below me. He's like, and then he goes, as I get toward the one end of the pool where the sun was kind of beating down, he goes, I see this gigantic reptilian head and I realize it's a gator. And he's like, it's about 9-10 foot in the pool. And it was right underneath him. And it was starting to come up. So he veered off and he got out of the pool. He goes, and then it went toward him and it came up out of the water. And he said it didn't snap, but it came up out of it. And it was, you know, front legs onto the side of the pool. And he's sitting there like he's backing up. He's like, dude, I fell down and busted my ass. But he goes, I was kicking at it. And I got up and he goes, now it's gone, dude. So there was a gator that he had to call animal control to come get it, you know. Unbelievable. They just come and jump in your pool.
Yeah, I've seen that horror movie.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't need to live it.
They literally do this. I've gotten, you know, like Garetano, a mutual friend of ours, Monica, and you know, friend of the show. He's doing one about gators, you know, in Florida and how they're just a nightmare because they just show up and they're like, hey, I like this bathtub. What's up? Yeah. You know?
Or you open your front door and they're like, good morning.
See, Abe, at least you don't. Elms Grove doesn't have gators you got to deal with while you're out there because that would just be one more hazard for you.
I don't know. They're all over Texas.
Yeah, they're in Texas too.
They're in Texas too, but not like that. Like you know, I'm not going out to my friend. Like I went to my friend's pool the other day. I didn't go looking around and use their gator in here. You know what I mean? Like I'm not worried. A lot
of black snakes in Elms Grove. Big ones.
Dude, there's cottonmouths are everywhere. And
cottonmouths.
Anywhere there's water, though, they'll go and get in it. I had a friend of mine who took a video of himself at Lake Travis here with a moccasin that was very aggressive, and he was in the water, and it was swimming. It was going toward him, and he was backstroking, trying to get away from it. And his friend is on the boat videoing it, you know, and he's like, dude, help. You know, like, what's up? And he's like, what do you want me to do? So he threw like a life raft and hit the snake and kind of knocked it off course. And then he went under the water and he came back up and got on the boat. But yeah, there was a little video of it. And I was like, what the hell is he doing? But I know
they'll chase you.
They will.
Oh, yeah. They're super territorial and aggressive.
Mean as hell. As hell, dude. I mean, I actually smacked one of them one time. And it was so quick. I was about to sit down and I was at right there on the lake. And Joe and Abe, y'all live in this area, you know, Lake Travis, you know. And so I was out there at a dinner party, and I was like, this was years ago. And the people that were annoying people, they're like, whatever, dude. Real chicante, as we say in Spanish, you know. And I was out there, and I was like, you probably have a lot of. I had just said it. I said, you probably have a lot of wildlife that they have a fence, you know, and probably have a lot of wildlife that comes out here. And they say sometimes deer, but nothing else. And then I go to sit down, and there's like something in the seat. And at first, it was wound up, and I thought it was like a hose. And then I thought it was like a child's toy or something. I was like, what is that? And I just slapped it and knocked it off. And then it turned around and was like, and then it took off toward the creek. And I was like, dude, I just slapped a water moccasin. What is that? And it was a yeah. And they were like, oh my gosh, well, we must get someone to clean this place with those snakes or whatever. But
especially when they're mating,
the butler to do it. Smiley, come take care of the snakes.
When they're mating, the water moccasins, they'll attack you.
Mm-hmm.
They'll attack you when they're not mating too.
East of Austin, real bad for copperheads. Like if you go to the copperheads out there where you're at, Joe, the copperheads, and they love that sand out there. They like that.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So Monica, tell us what's going on. I caught a little bit of your show last night, and you know, and so tell us what you were talking about last night. It was very interesting.
Yeah, so we started off talking about just like Irish folk legends and, you know, fairy and myths, and this one particular haunted castle that I don't know why I'm fascinated with it. It's Leap Castle out there in Ireland.
I know exactly. You know, the oubliette.
The oubliette, yeah, we were talking about the oubliette, and
I didn't get that part, but yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah, the elemental.
The elemental, because they say that it's roughly the size of a sheep.
Yep.
Right, and it touched somebody. I remember the story years ago. I've read about it, but go ahead, tell it.
Yeah. So it supposedly scared somebody to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and it just, for whatever reason, I think the oubliette really maybe more than the elemental like fascinates me, because a lot of people don't know what an oubliette is, and for those of you that don't know, it's basically a pit, and it's a place of forgetting, right? It's French for, I think, forgetful or something. And you just throw people into it and walk away. And when they discovered this thing in the castle, they hauled off 3 cartloads of human bones out of the oubliette. So you can just imagine the kind of energy that's got to be going on there.
Yeah, the nobles there they didn't care, and they would be having dinner parties and having a great time while the people there were dying of hunger and thirst. They didn't care.
Yeah. They really didn't. It was literally like where you just tossed your worst enemies into. And then the elemental, we kind of went into that about how some people were saying that it was a spirit that was put there by the pagans before the castle was built to kind of protect their little sacred area. And then some people were saying that competing clan came in and put the elemental into the castle to try to flush out the existing clan. They were trying to take it over, and they threw that in there to try to burn it out from the inside, essentially. But no matter what it is, it's still a pretty creepy place. And then we were talking about different spirits, like the Dullahan, which Tex he'd heard of it, but he didn't have a lot of information on it. And because Washington Irving's story was so interesting to me, I've got like this thing with the Headless Horseman stories. And that's what the Dullahan is. It's a headless rider, right? And he rides a headless horse. And it's either a single rider with the horse, or it's a headless coachman with a team of headless horses. And they come for the next person to die. And the thing that creeped me out the most about it, besides everything being headless, is that this thing supposedly has a whip that it uses made out of a human spine. And that's what it uses to goad on the horses, and it will crack the whip at people and, take your head or take your eyes. And I was telling Tex last night, like, can you imagine being a child? These are the things they're telling their kids at night, Can you imagine hearing that?
Wow, good times.
Yeah,
Like
fun. Your
a whip
childhood.
of a human spine, and
Yeah.
and the head. The horse doesn't have a head. The headless horse and the headless horseman.
Yeah. I mean, it
Yeah.
reminds me kind of the Wild Hunt, right? You're familiar with those tales out of the UK. More,
Yeah.
I think the Wild Hunt's more out of the UK.
Yeah,
But
it's Celtic, but it comes from the Picts originally.
yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of time, I mean, it's the rider, and sometimes the horse is headless with the Wild Hunt, and sometimes, you know, it's a team of horses with the Wild Hunt, and that's where you get like, you know, Black Shuck, Old Shuck, the black horses or the black dogs that are, you know, messengers of death, essentially. Like if you see the Wild Hunt, your days are numbered.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, and that's the same with the Doulahan.
The Irish legends are very creepy. I mean, they go really deep into some scary territory. You know, like what is it called? In the water, the Kelpie.
Yeah.
I mean, these things, like there's always drowning. Everybody's being drowned. It's like, dude, they drown everybody. It's like, you know, don't look at the beer, lad, that you drown. Like, okay, sorry, let me not look at it while I drink it. Everything drowns you for some reason. They are really scared of the Fuith, which is the Fuith is like the water spirits. It's a terrifying thing over there. Mm-hmm. They live in fear of these things, and they always want to drag you into the water. I don't know what the heck it is.
That's true. Like all the water, the water sprites and the water fairy. Mm-hmm. You know, like the one that stands out in my mind from when I was a child listening or reading really all these stories was Jenny Greenteeth, because she would, you know, she's portrayed as have you seen the movie Legend? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that bog witch that pops up, that's Jenny Greenteeth. Jenny
Green, yeah.
Yeah, and she would pop up and drag children specifically into the ponds. And yeah, I mean everything there's like you said, trying to drown you.
And then there's another guy that some of the Irish would playfully call Stretch Man or the Stretch or whatever, but he walks, he's like a tall, skinny. It's kind of like the Slender Man.
Okay.
The Irish legend of it, and it's specifically, it's not really a Northern Ireland legend, because the Protestants, it's not something they believe in. It's a Catholic thing where if you don't go to mass a certain amount of times, then he'll meet you on the road and say "Danum dum Dale," which is like top of the morning, and you're going like it's night, so you'll kind of stop, and if you don't say it back, then he'll grab you, because what happens is he's saying it at night, and you're supposed to question him. Mm-hmm. Then he tells you your sins and he kills you, basically. So but I said, well, so you got to say it back, but if you question him and go, oh, it is nighttime out here, you know, then he goes, oh really? Well, let me tell you about your sins, like whatever. So then I would just ignore him.
Just keep walking.
Yeah, it's like being on 6th Street here in Austin. People are like, hey, what's up? And I'm just like, like you don't exist, dude, because I don't know you, homie. I don't know you. Right, Joe? You go down 6th Street, especially Dirty Six, you'd be like, damn, there's some crazy people out there. I don't know if you're a demon or a ghost, but what you are. You're just a crackhead. What?
I'm the friendly person. Be like, what's going on? Tell me your story.
Abe, you probably can see the demons behind them. You can probably see the demons attached to them, and what, you know, because I've seen things before.
I got a story about that. When I was coming back from Germany, when I was after the Operation Desert Storm, I went to JFK, and I missed my airplane, so they sent me to LaGuardia, and I missed the plane there. So they told me to go wait outside by the bench, that there was going to be a bus from the Holiday Inn to come pick me up. And there was this man sitting beside me, right? And he was acting weird, you know, and he's like talking a different language. But then he got up and he started saying something I couldn't understand. When he turned around and looked at me, you could see the red eyes glowing, and he went into the darkness. It's like he was demonized. That happened at a bus stop. We were waiting for the Holiday Inn, so I could stay at the Holiday Inn so they could bring me back in the morning, because I missed my flight. But this guy literally had red eyes, and he was talking to me. I didn't know. I thought it was just a regular guy. You know, it's an African American sitting on a bench. So you don't know whenever you're going to run into one, but it happened that way. He turned around, he looked at me, I could see the red eyes. But yeah, sometimes when people are drinking, that's when they show up. That's when I go I like dancing, but I limit myself like maybe one drink because they surface up. Even I'll go to Harker Heights to dance sometimes, and the creek that runs behind the VFW runs towards Elms Grove where I used to live, and they surface up. Those shadow people or shadow figures, they surface up.
I don't know how you deal with the things you see, Abe, because it seems like a running horror movie. Like the horror movies where somebody's walking down the street and everybody's, like faces changing. Not that you see that everywhere, but it seems like you are very attuned to it and you can see it pretty often.
The spiritual law, they have to identify themselves. So they show themselves to me because they know I can see them and I can sense them. So they're like, what the heck? Let's give them something to think about, So sometimes they might tell me through a person, that might tell me something that only I know. And then they laugh at me. That's where I already know I'm dealing with somebody that has an unclean attachment in them. So I'll go, God bless you. When I go, God bless you, they take off and the person becomes normal, so that we start having a normal conversation. But yeah, happens to me all the time. I would tell my wife about it and she's like, the person didn't believe, but then when certain things started happening and she was there to witness them, she's like, oh shoot, he's not lying about this, because she witnessed it for herself. So yeah, it's been like that all my life, since I was a kid. I would see some of my friends where they would get a negative attachment in school when they would be acting different, like he had control of them, and they were doing like mischievous things. So I couldn't go to the teacher until I made my friend is something wrong with my friend, because then they say, oh, you tattletelling. That's one of the things I would say when I was growing up. Oh, we don't like tattletales. We don't like tattletales. But you're worried because something's happening to them. You just don't know how to tell it to a teacher because they ain't going to believe what you're telling them, because they're a title of a teacher and their job is just to teach. So I've seen a lot of my friends that would get unclean spirits in them where we're playing and stuff like that. And then I'll try to get close to them with my love foundation to get the unclean spirits out of them. They'll be doing some crazy stuff. When somebody is being spiritually bonded, they're doing things they're not supposed to be doing out of character, which unclean spirit has full control of them, and they start acting completely different, and they don't even know what happened to them, But yeah, it's been like that all my life.
Yeah, because when you were a child, what happened to you?
Yes,
You were
since I was a kid,
bruja,
when I came back to the States, the other day I was making a video, and freaking Lechusa appeared there in my house. I had one already appeared by the tree, but then one was making a noise, and you could literally hear like it was like a woman talking from the top of the tree. And the viewers that I had, because I do my videos late, they were like, "What the f is that?" They were like freaking out because they're making this weird noise. That's all. They're just trying to scare me away because I'm used to it, So I don't give it power by being afraid or believing. I know they exist. I just like maintain my love foundation, and if I have to, they try to challenge me spiritually, well, I'll fight against them spiritually and I'll rebuke them to Jesus Christ. The one that was Lechusa came from behind the tree. She was standing behind the tree. She was like 5'6", looking at me, and I thought she was going to attack me because that's what they do, when they're in the form of the owl. So I was looking at her and I was talking to the viewers, and then as it was looking at me, I was looking at her. And I was fixing to get my seat, and just in case you try to attack me, use it as a shield, as a metal, it's pure metal seat, right? So when they looked at me, I guess it read what I was thinking. It took off instead. It went over the fence, but it was pretty tall.
I'm going to ask you a question, Abe, and I'm sure everybody's curious. But for us here, would you, because this all because of what you have with the eyes, I think it started when you were a child, because when me and Barton interviewed you, you had told us all this stuff, and we talked before the show, and then we recorded with you, and we talked after.
Yes.
And it was very interesting. But I was wondering, Like, if you had to do it over again, would you not want the eye, or are you okay with where you're at with it and having to see these things? Would you change it if you not have it if you could? Because I know some people would. Do you have any 18s?
You know, I don't know what answer to give you, man, because you feel like when I was born into this world, as soon as I was born, people were trying to kill me already before I even went to Mexico. I remember where I felt like somebody was suffocating me. They would find me in between the mattresses because the brujas, lechuzas, were trying to take me out. So I would always have dreams where I couldn't breathe. And I remember I had to be a couple of weeks old when those things were happening where they were coming after me. I remember also men dressed all in black telling my parents, give them to us now and stuff like that. And they wouldn't let go. And, you know, we had crosses inside the house protecting so they couldn't come in. But they were dressed all in black. You know, they didn't look like, maybe, I don't know, like you would say men in the black, they got those black leather jackets like the government. There was always trying to, you know, all throughout my life, you know, it's been that way. You know, I can't say I would do anything different because it's my destiny. Then, you know, this is, you know, I just go with it. You know, it was meant for me to be this way. You know, I guess I was able to handle it, right? So I wouldn't take nothing back, especially now that the most important part that I have a relationship with Jesus Christ and he blesses me and protects me. You know, I always get threatened spiritually, you know, whether it's through the sisterhood or the witches and warlocks, or people, you know, people trying to threaten me with weapons, you know, like they're trying to scare me, but they don't know that I'm not afraid, you know. Where I've been and what I've seen is like anybody can tell me something threatful. It just goes one in there, not the other. You know, the only way I handle a situation is accordingly to the threat, you know, whether it's spiritual or physical. But yeah, no, it's kind of like when I wanted to tell people, you know, when I was growing up, I wanted to tell people around me what I was seeing and, you know, things like that. But it was like I couldn't because the way my mom was, I couldn't say nothing to anybody because if I said something that my mom didn't like, she would discipline me, you know, and I wouldn't want to. It was about respect, right? So I just knew I had capabilities to do things. It just at the time when your parents are in charge, you know, you have to follow their orders. But after, you know, everything happened in my family, then, you know, it became a spiritual fight. But I've witnessed a lot of things and people that I've invited, like I've invited some people to Elms Grove. They witnessed the dark shadow spirits there, and someone got spiritually attacked, and I felt bad. There was a female in the military that got spiritually attacked, and there was this guy that was a Wiccan. That he said his mom was a Wiccan, and he said he had certain capabilities, and you know they were in the military. So I took him there, and I said, "Look, man, I don't feel safe bringing you. We got afraid something going to happen." And yes, two things happened to him twice. You know, and it's like I feel bad because they got spiritually attacked. But you know, they're already, you know, I just try to help out people to just like when people like when I hear people threatening me that with weapons and this and that, you know, like they tell me, do you have your weapon with you all the time? And stuff like that. It's like that don't scare me, you know, I was in the military. But what concerns me is this: when somebody is threatening you with a weapon, is it them that are threatening you with a weapon, or is it what's bonding them that's threatening you with a weapon?
Yeah.
So if they're being demonized or an unclean spirit in them, you know how they're worshiping the weapon. The demons, if they can't get what they're promised, they can use their own weapon against them, and boom, that's it. And it's going to be in just another casualty of suicide. You know, and that's what people don't understand. That's why I try to. If people ask me, why do you go out there with weapons? Because I know what they're capable of doing. You know, if they can possess a body, then you got a knife or a weapon. It can make you use it against you you hear where people just jump in the middle of the road and they get hit by a car or they jump off a bridge. It's because they get possessed. They don't even know till it's too late, you know. So there's been many people that have crossed over not knowing what the hell happened. Excuse my French, because they might have had a spiritual opening. That's why that's one of the reasons I always say I always maintain a love foundation. People ask me, well, why do you want to listen to a guy like that if he was in the military, he was in combat? Is it because I know that that's what it is? You know, it's harder said than done. You know, that's would be because to anger it's easy, but to maintain a love foundation is that harder. And those unseen forces that are around us, they focus on that. They want people to be pissed off. They want division. They want people to argue because that's what they thrive on. That's when they're at their fullest potential. So it's doing the opposite, not to give these unseen forces power. You know, like our brother Josh was saying about when people like, hey, these are my friends, this is my family out here in the woods. You know, this is my no.
Yeah.
No, they're not your friends. You know, that's is part of Wendigoism, or like Wendigoism, where people go out there and they literally get possessed, and they're thinking they're a wild man and stuff. You know, or they're being savage, but it's not really them that's doing that. It's what's within them that's making them that way. You know, whether it be the the unclean spirits, demonic spirits, or spirits of the shapeshifter skinwalkers. You know, that they attach themselves or bond you. It's when you rub against something like that, when you go investigate, you'll feel the difference. Like a brother here, when he said he's seen the shapeshifter thing pass right in front, I'm more sure his vibe feel there's something wasn't right with that. You know, when he's seen it cross the road, you know, it's like an automatic sense that kicks in, like, hey, there's something ain't right here. And
you get the feeling.
You take precaution, you know?
Yeah.
What were we saying, Joe?
I say, yeah, you get that feeling, you get that presence before you even. It's like it's like as soon as I spotted it, and it was just a squirrel, I instantly had this like an overwhelming feeling, you know, and I was like, that's not right. But there's no visual or audio trigger to make me think otherwise. But you instantly go, why am I paying extra attention to this? You know what I mean?
There's something that feels it,
yeah. But yeah, I mean, one time speaking of the almost like the possession thing, I caught a case in Harris County. Don't ask me about what.
Houston area, huh?
Yeah, in Houston, and so I had to go to court.
You're investigating?
No, I was being investigated.
My bad.
But if Jen was here, she could help attest to it, or give me probably details that I probably long forgot. But when I was going to court, there was this guy outside, and every time I went to court, he was out there. And this dude, he was like a really abnormally big dude. Like, I mean, he's probably bigger than you, Wolf, like literally. So he was a big dude, you know what I mean? Like height wise, everything. He's just a big dude.
I'm not that big of a guy.
Well, you're a pretty big guy. But I mean, I was just like taken aback by it because he was like on like a motorized, kind of like a wheelchair, but it was like bigger than a wheelchair. And that's all he did. Every time I saw him is he was out in front of the courthouse downtown Houston. And he had like weird, like almost like horse teeth. Like whatever had gotten into him, this is what my personal belief is, whatever got into him started physically changing this dude because he no longer had like human characteristics. Like he just looked, like he didn't look right. And all he did was sit outside in front of the courthouse and yell and scream. Was it Gary? Right.
Exactly.
Almost. But yeah, and then like one time we were coming out and I was just out there smoking a cigarette, waiting for my lawyer to get there. And he just like locked eyes on me and Jen, and he just started, and there's probably 50, 60 people out in front of the courthouse. And he just like locked eyes and started speaking in tongues and just yelling and yelling. And I'm just like, you know, she's like, what the is going on? You know, and I'm like, whatever, dude, just, you know, like I just try not to let it bug me, because I know that that's not a regular dude, and whatever's inside of him making him look like that. There's actually I don't know if y'all might have stumbled across it, but there's a meme of this black dude with dreadlocks on a subway, or it's like on either a subway train or maybe a city bus, and he's got like these big gnarly teeth, and he just looks like really demonic. And people are, you know, that's like the whole meme is, this dude's not human. And that's like the closest thing I ever came to seeing it. And but yeah, it was one of those things that is like, dude, that's full blown possession, and it's to the point
you start to look like it,
right? Yeah,
you start to look like what's wrapped around you,
yeah.
and not like what Abe talks about, like he can see them behind him. I'm not like
Right.
Abe, but every now and then I can catch a glimpse of something. When I was dealing with people who were not upstanding citizens, and I would be in meetings with people who were not upstanding citizens, and I had some not upstanding citizens hanging on my side.
Right.
I would see things moving around. I was in a strip club down in Houston, folks. I don't like strip clubs. I don't go to them. I go, but I don't look. I you know, like I don't inhale. Right? I don't look. I'm there like this, like a blind guy. I don't.
Was it Harlem Nights?
He's like, I just put the dollars on my
Harlem
ears.
Nights. Just because your name's heroin, I mean you got to go around selling it.
Hey, Josh, you just put the dollars on your ears. It's airplanes.
That's it, man. I don't like when they pass the cocaine. I do not snort. I just you know, whatever. I don't do this.
I smell. I don't inhale.
I smell it. I don't inhale it, and I do not smoketh of the reefer bud, because it resembles a cockroach. The mota, as they say, the Mexicans say, it is not good for you. And I do things that are good to do, because I am a good man. So, no, seriously, all joking aside, but I was in a strip club, and it was run by Armenians. That's all I'm going to say. And it was, you know, and I was which was at that time my boss. I was his bodyguard when I was young coming up, you know. And I mean, I might as well just take Garetano's deal and just tell my life story and just, you know, change names and don't say anything too bad, you know. But I thought about it, you know. But anyway, it was another life, and it's a testament to God, seriously, that I could change from being the person I was. But it took a lot. My grandmother died and came to me in a dream. Well, it wasn't a dream; it was her, and she's like, "You need to stop everything." I threw my phone in the lake, which was dumb because my friend was like, he's German. He's like, you know, my friend, you could have just like changed the numbers. And I was like, I was not in my right mind. I'm like, yeah, you're right. And then I didn't know about the lithium battery and being pollution and all that. Sorry. But still, I did that. And I thought, this is going to be me changing. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to do all this stuff. And I did. It takes time. You got to do it. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to demilitarize yourself. And that's something Abe understands, you know, about that. We've talked about it. You got to demilitarize yourself and become a civilian again and act like a normal, you know. And it's hard for people, especially somebody like me or Abe, you know, Joe. We're all sort of alpha guys, but you have to be fit into society, you know. And there have been times where I've lost my cool. Not gonna lie, and there've been people looking at me like this one time at the store. This guy, he had his no shirt, no shoes. The guy behind the counter, I used to go there every day before I go to my post. And he told the guy, he's like, hey, man, you come in here. Don't do this. And the guy's like, man, F you, you know, cool super longs, whatever. And this dude's standing in front of me. He turned around and goes, what you need? What's up? And I'm like, what do you mean? What do I need? I'm standing in line to pay for my drink and my, you know. And the guy just kept, you know, and I was like, man, turn around, dog. Don't look at me, man, for real. I don't want to, you know. And he's just like, oh, you want me looking at you? You want me? He starts getting up in my face. And then the next thing you know, I'm like, got this guy in a Nelson and I'm throwing him out into the street. You know, and then he wants to put up his hands, and I said, dude, I was like, what is that? He looked, and I was like, damn, you know, very simple. It's very easy. I'm like, you know, this guy's, he's like, oh, you know, squirrel, you know, and I smacked him. That might be a cheap shot. I don't know. And I went back inside, paid for my stuff. And the guy that worked there, he's like, don't worry, man. The cops come. I take it off camera. No problem. He goes, you're good. He goes, just go. He's good. And so I left. But it was like, sometimes I lose it, because I'm being nice. I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah.
Please don't get in my
Yeah.
face and start doing this with your hand and
You
jumping
wouldn't like it when
around and
I'm
being all
angry.
on drugs in front of me and bugged out eyes. What's up, dog? You don't know me. I'm a killer. I'm crazy. My heart don't pump Kool-Aid. I was like, I know it doesn't. You have blood in you like everyone else, right? I don't need you to tell me all this crazy stuff, but then you lose it. But so, I'd be in this club. I was in this club and I saw this thing slither off of this dude's back. And I kid you not, and it kind of plopped onto the ground. And they're like two people are talking, and I'm not somebody at that point that can be interrupting and going, did you see the man on the wing of this plane? I was not. I was completely sober, and I was like, so I had this guy that worked with me, and his nickname was Monster. Literally, this guy was a crazy dude. He's an El Salvadorian dude, and he like nudged me, and I looked over at him, and I was like, yeah, and we saw it. So when we were leaving, he was the driver. He was my boss's driver, and I was in the passenger side. I was just the heavy, And he was like, did y'all see that? And I said, you saw it too. I was like, thank God I'm not the only person. I was like, like, what's his name? The guy that played the Harry and Hendersons. What's his name? He talks like John Lithgow.
Yeah.
John Lithgow. He's like, oh my gosh. And there's a man on the wing,
Oh,
I'm over there
yeah.
like, dude, there's a man on the wing of this plane. Like this thing, like a squid-like thing dropped off of this dude. And I'm not joking. And it was like, it slithered away. And there were other people that were there. And I know the two of the guys' bodyguards, they had to have seen it too. They were like looking at it. We could all see it, but nobody's saying anything. And this man is talking. And as soon as it came off of him, he was kind of like he got real, like this thing had drained his energy. And then the second time I went to that place, I saw it again, and it was like just hanging out in the corner like a spider, but it was more like a squid looking. It was like a shadow, and it would move around, and I was like, "What in the hell? How does people not see that?" But it's dark, and so I had a friend. He's now he was a kickboxer for years, and he was locked up in Phuket prison. Shout out to Chris Trammell. He's a badass dude. Go look him up. He's got some videos of him just rocking people in the ring. He's a kickboxer. He now coaches, forgot the name of the system he coaches for, but he coaches MMA guys. Two of his guys are in the UFC. He's a coach in Las Vegas. Good friend of mine. His name's Chris Trammell. And Trammell you worked in a nightclub with my brother, and it was a strip club. My brother worked there, and they worked together. And it was crazy, some of the things that they would see. And then, Trammell had told me one day about this flying creature type thing or whatever. I think it was an attachment that he got when he was over there in the Phuket prison, when he was locked up, because, he's a crazy dude. He's got a crazy past. And he was an amazing fighter. He was with Randy Couture. When Couture won the title, he was there in his corner. And Chris, if he wouldn't have had this really bad motorcycle accident that nearly killed him, I think he would have have a great career in the UFC. But he was a tough kid. And I remember one time being in that club, and I only went once a year. It was for my brother's birthday, which was Cinco de Mayo. And we would go there, and I was with my uncle Jaime. And Jaime was like, mira, aquí, like, look over there. Like, what is this over here? And I look. And there was this weird, like undulating, like snake-like black, and it was just real quick, and it was gone. I saw the tail end of it, but my friends saw it. They were all there, and they saw it, and we were talking about it later on. And it was like, dude, every time I go into one of those places, when I had to go because I didn't like being in them because it felt so disgusting and rot, like there was just rot in that place, and I would feel it on me. Like it was something on me when I would leave. Like there's this like heavy darkness.
Yeah.
Because the people that are there, it's kind of like a lot of them are really there against their will. It's like they're doing it, but it's like, and you can feel a sadness there because I'm not an empath like my wife and certain people that are very empathic. I'm not as empathic, and you have to kind of guard yourself. But I could feel this heaviness, and I would never. I wouldn't really participate in the festivities. I would just kind of sit there and end up talking to one person, and that's it. I would just be like, whatever. I don't want to do all this. This wasn't my thing, man. It was bad enough being in the nightclub, at the strip club. It was it's a nightmare. I cannot go in those places. I feel horrible when I leave. I feel so bad. I feel so just I feel like I
Grimy.
Abe, you got to get the huevo. Depends, man. It's not a good feeling. It's not a good place. It's a place of, just bad, And so I feel this heaviness when I go in there, but I'll never forget that. I was just sitting there and we just saw this thing kind of plop down, And I was reminded of it because my friend that was there, he messaged me the other day and he was like, hey, because he knew about the story about it. I told him when it happened. It was Squid and my brother. I told him what happened when I got home.
The Leviathan, man. Freaking it gets hooked up in the neck area in your spine and tries to control you.
Yeah, and that's where it fell off of, was the back of his neck. His back. Yeah, that's exactly right.
I've seen the one that you're talking about, the shadow one time in my room. It was on the ceiling. I was like, what the hell is that? I thought it was a spider at first. A big ass spider, right? So I'm looking at it, but it was a shadow and it was weird. He had a lot of legs and like a tail of some sort with little legs. So I start praying against it, So I start praying against it. He just takes off, like disappears. But it was looking at me like it was waiting to jump on me.
Mm-hmm. Monica, what you were talking about earlier, let's go back to that because your lead castle, like that is, there are so many places like that,
Well, yeah, I mean, all around the world, there's horrible, horrible places. Lep is just one that caught my attention a long, long time ago, and I've always been interested in it. But there's, it's another one that I'm really interested in studying, or just reading up on, and I'm forgetting the name of it.
Where's it at? Tell me.
Huska Castle.
Oh, okay.
You know which one I'm talking about. Yeah, that one's interesting too because the way that it's built, right? It's built it's a fort, right? It's a tower, a tor.
Like Berwick upon Tweed is another one that I'm interested in because it changed hands so many times and it was so bloody.
Yeah. Well, the way that Huska Castle, right? It's instead of preventing attacks from the exterior, it's all armament to keep something in. And there's all the legends about how it's built over the gateway to hell, and it's meant to keep the demons that fly up out of the pits at night.
Like Baalbek, that's what Baalbek is. They capped it, literally in the Levant. They capped it. It's amazing. There's places like that all over the world. What do you know about that, though? What do you know about that castle? Can you tell us more about it?
It just, I mean, it's what. There's not a lot to say, and I tried to dig a little deeper to see, when it was made and what it was made for, and it's old enough that people aren't sure. Obviously it was built back when you would be, guarding the exterior from raids coming in and sacking the castle. But, it just the fact that it's built just the opposite, like all the guarding, all the defenses are pointed inward. And I mean, that alone, it piques my interest because, it's gosh, where is Huska? I want to say it's in Eastern Europe, right?
Yeah.
And there's so many crazy stories about a lot of things out in Eastern Europe and just odd places, patches of forest where nothing grows, and people are supposedly, go missing or, there's the real popular Josh Gates show from way back in the day where his cameraman got yanked backwards in the middle of the clearing. And I talked to Josh about that and he was like, we did not rig that. He goes, that was legitimately he got yanked backwards. The guy took off. He doesn't want to go there again. He was like, I'm out of here. I don't want to stick around. You're
talking about Eastern Europe?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some crazy stuff out there in the woods because I was in Germany and I used to go training at nighttime to train my senses. And I remember I was so good. I would practice defense with the trees. And there was one day that I got so good that I hit this tree. And the trees that were in this area, they're real tall, but they're not too big. And the tree fell down. I remember the tree fell down. I was looking at my hands like that. Did I do that? But I said, well, maybe it's because of the ground, that the dirt is weak, that maybe it fell down or whatever. But then I hear something in the distance. I hear trees falling, and they keep falling. They're coming my direction, and I'm looking, and then I start seeing the trees that are falling. Something's dropping. The trees coming my way, and it's like time to go. I didn't want to know what it was.
If it's not
and I
getting
left.
yeah.
I didn't stay to find out. It was at nighttime, but there was a force out there that was literally knocking down the trees. Now, what was it? I didn't know because I didn't wait. I took off.
Sure.
There's a lot of trails where people go walking, and I was right by one of those trails when that happened. And I never went back. That's the last time I trained out there in the woods. I'm in a foreign country. I don't know what it was, but he knocked down a lot of trees, and they were coming up. The trees were literally falling, and it was making a path coming my way, and I took off.
Have y'all seen, and if you have, what's y'all's opinions on these videos with these walking tree things? Have y'all seen this where it's like an aerial view?
Yeah,
you literally see the tree.
Yeah, they look like they move.
Yeah, that's crazy. What do y'all
so much
think?
AI though, man? You don't know.
Yeah.
They said there's machines. You seen the machines that can pick up the trees like that, and they can move them. But yeah, a lot of that looks like AI.
Yeah, I just assume it's a trick of the camera. They're fooling you with something.
Yeah, I agree. Especially nowadays, like, whenever they came out with that Star Wars movie that had Christopher Lee in it, even though he's been dead for
Lord of the Rings. You're talking about the Ents. The trees get up.
What I'm getting at is the AI and the is that I forgot what Star Wars flick it was, but they brought back Christopher Lee because he was in The New Hope, but he's been dead for so long, and it was just a recent movie. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, dude, I can't even tell the difference. Like, it literally looks like Christopher Lee's in the freaking. So it makes it really hard to trust any of that stuff anymore. But I still think if it is genuine footage, then that's a pretty odd one, because now you're not talking like a cryptid, you're talking like an inhumanoid, you're talking implantanoid.
Mr. J just said Rogue One. Rogue One was cool.
Rogue One, yeah.
But what I'm going to tell you this: they've done a great job of trying to suppress Vader because they said he had. Just get this. This is true. That he was too much toxic masculinity. I'm not joking. They really said that. They said that because Vader was too alpha male. So they limited him in all of those moves, like at the end of it, where he comes in and he just starts kicking a bunch of people's ass real quick, and then they get away, and you're like, it's like, dude, that's it. You give them 5 seconds to come in and be a badass, and then that's it. You're done. Wow. Right. So then they rectified it a little bit by putting him in with Obi-Wan, where they're always beating the shit out of each other. But I mean, because him and Obi-Wan are my favorite people. I'm just gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm just gonna tell you, Luke. Not so much. This is a whiny little
man. That kid's a whiner.
Get up here.
But I want to go to town.
Why you cut off my hand?
Space modulators. No, he's a whiner. Man, that kid's a whiner.
He is. He's like,
Y'all remember when the Star Wars came out? They had all those little packs where you could buy, and they had cards and everything.
Yeah.
Like you buy them for like a dime or 15 cents. And I would throw all of them away. And if I would have saved them, it would be worth some money.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, those came out, I think, in 1977. I have the original set of those. I have all of them. They had the Empire. They had Empire Strikes Back. My mother had saved those for me because my mother actually is the one that got me into collecting baseball cards, but my dad was the one that took me to the card shows and was like, oh, cool, because my mom used to run a grocery store. She came home and she had a bunch of them that they were going to throw away, 1980s tops. And I ended up with 3 Ricky Henderson and 2 Mike Scott rookie cards. And those were worth money. And like at that time, they were worth like $15, $20. And I couldn't believe that. I mean, and this is 1982, 3, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, so that was a lot. That was a lot of money, and I was a kid. And so when the Beckett price guide, you go and you get the big old thick one, it became a Beckett monthly, but I looked and I was like, holy crap. And then I found out that the Star Wars cards were actually worth something. What you might not know, Abe, is that now the Star Wars, they come out with a new type of card every year. And there's 3 or 4 of them. They're made by Panini and Skybox. Not Skybox, Upper Deck, I think, does it. There's 3 or 4 companies that do it. And I have one I just got. that somebody had said, hey, you know, I used to collect, they're a listener, and they said, I used to collect, but I don't really care about this stuff anymore, or whatever. And I'm like, cool, you're going to donate it to the show? And they're like, no, punk, you buy it. And I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. I thought you were my friend, but no,
we were friends.
I thought we was friends, Scott. You going to do that to me now? You going to do me like that? So I bought this Vader, but it's a really, I don't have it with me. If I was at the house, I could show you, but it's a graded card. It's like a graded PSA 10, and it's worth like $150. It's a crazy thing how these cards, these Star Wars and this. But even with the cards, they don't have a whole lot of Vader because they said that he was too toxic. Yeah, okay, Kathleen, whatever you say, honey. Keep making the Force feminine or whatever it is you think you're doing. There can be a balance. There can never be a balance between male and female. It always has to be this whatever, you know. And so that's all part of what they're trying to do, though. It's the agenda. I think there should be a balance. I really do. And I think that this whole thing where they want women to be men, you know, and it's like there's a lot to be said for being a woman. And not saying this because Monica's here. I'm saying this is my audience is about 50-50. But the truth be told, I mean, why not be? Because there's things that women can do that men can't. And I don't care how much you try. If you're a man, you can never menstruate. You know, of all the billions of people ever born on the planet, not one of them was ever born from a man. Okay, they can try. Now it's really cute that they go and they swim and they say, look, I'm a woman, I can do this. No, that's not correct. I can go and enter into a weightlifting contest and be like, yeah, I could beat most men, but I could just say, look, I'm gonna win because as a woman. Okay, and then just go with a halter top and say I identify as a woman with a beard. And I'm going to lift weights. Okay, this is ridiculous. I don't care. I'll say it on the show. I don't give a crap.
I identify
it's so
as
stupid,
retired,
man.
I identify as retired, and I'm still not getting my Social Security check.
Exactly. I identify as a billionaire. Yeah, you just walk up and just give it to me. I'll pay you back on Tuesday. Yeah, sure. That you just walk in and they'll give it to you. Sure. This is what we're doing here. This is how crazy things have gotten. So sometimes, you know, the paranormal is not even the craziest thing I deal with on a daily basis. I mean, it's not. I had a sword wielding guy in a dress the other day on one of my properties. And he told me that he could burn my eyes out with liquid flame. And I was like, what? And he goes, I could light this sword on fire. And I'm like trying to talk to him, like, hey, can you just put the sword down before you get sprayed with something unholy? Can you stop, please? And no, he didn't want it. He wanted to sit there and lecture me about it. And I'm like, I could cut your head. I was like, you could do a lot of things with that, but we're not going to do that though, right? Let's take it down a notch. So then this guy goes, you don't know what it's like. You're over there driving that fancy car or whatever, which is like it's not even a fancy car. I'm like, dude, it's a patrol car. I'm like, that's not a fancy car. It's a Crown Vic. But I said, look, you know, put the sword down. And he was like trying to argue with me about what he could do, what he couldn't do. I said, you could do a lot of things. Doesn't mean you should. I said, and another thing too, he said, I said, you need to get help, you know, some help, you know. And he says, you don't know what it's like to be homeless. I said, actually, I do. I said, I lived in a car smaller than that. I said, you don't understand. I didn't just wake up. I just stopped doing the crazy crap that you're doing. It was that simple. And then things went back to normal. But people don't want that. They don't want to do that. They want to do this crazy, you know. What you were saying about the Huska Castle is very interesting. I know a little bit about that castle. That's actually it's I don't know, a few like 30 miles from Prague or something like that. Mm-hmm. That's the Czech Republic, folks, by the way. That's where it's at. That's where it's located. There's some weird stories out of there. There is a story that I got from somebody who worked there. Oh. Now get this. I talked about, that's funny that you talked about that because in the Czech Republic, because one of the stories I told recently on the show, I think it was last Sunday's show. And it was about werewolves, you know, mm-hmm. and these supposed people that attack these, I think it was Sunday's show. And the attacks that went on, and this guy was a private investigator. And so I actually got to he reached out and actually talked to me. I didn't talk to him. I'd only talked to his friend from Ireland, who was ironically from Ireland. And so then I told him, he goes, would you like to talk to him? And he talks such a thick accent at first. Sometimes you're talking to somebody, he's like, if you like to talk to them, listen, with the coffee, and I like somebody, listen to the and I was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. I don't know what I'm agreeing to. I could be agreeing to eat haggis or whether that's Scottish, but Yeah, and I was like, I don't know what I'm agreeing to, and I'm like, yeah, Mike, sure, Michael, you know. Hey, Kate, thank you for that donation. Appreciate that. The 35,000, you know, we
Reminds
deserve
me
a
of
lot of
Scotty
money
from
tonight,
Star Trek.
folks. Keep throwing it to us because I'm begging again. Here we go. So I told Michael, I said, who are we doing this? And he says, how do you talk about them? I was like, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. So I figured it out. It was this guy. And no offense to you, Michael. I love you. You're a great guy. I really enjoyed talking to you. I love the stories, everything. But I could talk to this dude that was, you know, from Slovenia easier than I could talk to him. So it's like when I talk to him, and he says, "Yeah, my family lives in Canada for a long time, and then we moved here, and that's a hard to language. Sorry for my accent." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I actually understand you." And Michael speaks English, and so he goes, "Oh, he's a good guy. You know, he's a good kid. This things happen, and blah blah blah." So Monday we were having this conversation. It was really interesting. We only talked about 30 minutes, but he says, I got one. I tell you, this woman, she come from the castle outside of Prague, and this is a very scary story. And this woman has this problem and blah, blah, blah. So she messaged me, and it was a big, long thing. And so I read it, and it was a horrific encounter. Horrific encounter. There's this thing there that they call a Gaspari or Gas. I can't even say the name, Gaspara or something. It's a type of gremlin is what it does. And what it does is it eats your tongue.
Ew.
It literally eats your tongue. So that, and then it's kind of like a parasite though. It gets in your body and it makes your tongue, it eats your tongue and it eats that little thing, the back of your throat or whatever. I forgot that. Yeah, it was really horrific. But she claims to have seen one of these things. And not only that, but it went from looking like a green little, as we say in Spanish, a duende, and then it became like this black-eyed, weird, demonic thing about the size of a doll, you know, is what she said in the thing. And it attaches itself to, like Abe was saying, in your back of your neck and in your spine, and it goes into your ears, like it puts its fingers like in your ear. That's how they say. But this thing, it rides on your back and then it hides in the back of your head so people can't see it. But she said that one of these things fell off of a person and scurried away, and she recognized it because she says that these people will come to that castle and they will drop off their demonic entities, and then other demonic entities will get on people from there. They're like hitch rides back. Yeah, that's what she was saying, and it was really bizarre. And so it's interesting that you talk about that castle because that just happened. And that is so weird and we didn't rehearse this, folks. Me and her did not rehearse this. But Sunday's show, we talked about the stuff that was going on with these, what I believe were werewolf attacks. I don't care what they try to message me and say, you don't know what you're talking about. Shut up, whatever. They were dogs. Okay, dogs are just falling out of trees and biting people's ears off, folks. I'm telling you, they're everywhere.
Right.
Abe, watch out in Elms Grove. They're going to ambush you. There's a pack of dogs waiting for you right now. I'm telling you, Joe, don't go outside. And Monica, don't even exist. Don't even just.
The gypsies say that werewolf is real. The gypsies in Germany, they say that they're real.
Yeah.
They're real.
Yeah.
In fact, the Germans, you know, if you get them in the right, you know, position to talk about it, they'll be like, yeah. And two of my good friends that stay with me were from Germany. One of my friends was Italian, and she was like, she's like, oh, werewolves are real. That's a real thing, you know. And she lived in Florence, and she was telling me about these werewolf attacks. That's another one. She reached out to me not too long ago, and it's funny because her best friend is from Japan, and her husband's from Germany. And I'm like, Germany, Japan, and Italy, y'all like the Axis. I don't know if I should be talking to y'all. Y'all are the bad guys or whatever. But it's funny because she told me, she's like, dude, this is a real thing. I've known her for years, and she used to hang out downtown. And so, yeah, she messaged me. She's like, yeah, and her boyfriend, thank goodness, thanks, Kevin, for getting her to finally watch my show. Finally. She watched my show, and she's like, I love it. I was talking to, you know, there's a mutual friend of ours downtown, Squid. She's like, I was talking to him. He's like, check out your show's good, whatever, you know. And so her boyfriend finally got her to watch it, and she said, you know, it's great. I love the show, whatever. But she says, werewolves are real. This is a real thing. She's like, I told you this before years ago. When she told me years ago and I had seen what I'd seen, I didn't think of like a shapeshifter You know, it was more plausible to me to believe in this, what we know as dog man, whatever. I don't know what the heck it is, but this, she said, that's a real, these are shapeshifters. And then her great uncle, she's got a story of her great uncle killing one of these things. And so that's a story we're gonna flesh out. We're gonna get into that one. It's the Italian werewolf story, I'm gonna call it, because seems like there's one from every country.
Yeah.
And we did the one from Brazil or whatever. These things are real, and finally people have an outlet that you know, it's not that they couldn't talk about it before on these other shows, but people weren't taking it seriously, and it wasn't a dog man, you know, so they didn't want to accept it. So we start talking about werewolf, they're like, no, that's not real. I'm here to tell you folks, they're real. I don't care what anybody says. And the last year or two, it's really hit home to me. But this little thing, this Gaspara, whatever it's called, I'm probably butchering the name, but this thing, what it does is it grabs a hold of people, it hangs on them. And he was telling me that there was a woman that had this. So she messaged me. I hope to talk to him some more. He didn't have a lot of time, and he said, talk to her. She'll tell you about this. And so this thing literally grabbed a hold of her leg while she was leading. They have tours, like you can go in the castle. They'll show you. Now they don't show you everything. They just show you part of it, the front, and then they pretend like the oubliette and all the other stuff doesn't exist. That's the nice part, you know. They're like, oh, that's where they tortured people. We don't need to go see that.
Don't need to look at that.
The dungeon, you know, whatever. It's overrated. But so they're walking around, and this thing bit her leg. She says, when I went to the bathroom, there was a bite mark. She said it looked like a child's bite mark on the right below her calf. Right below her calf. And she said there was blood coming out of her leg. And she said that there was this, so when she came out, there was this woman who was from Romania. And I didn't ask whether she was a gypsy or not, but she said, she's told her, she's like, my dear, I have the eye. And she's like, and this thing has attached itself. It bit your leg. I watched it happen. And so she was just in shock. He was like, you know, and so she realized, like, when she would see these little shadow things running around, these little monitos, little, you know, things, little people. And she's like, they're real. They're absolutely real. She never would have thought in a million years, what in the hell are we dealing with? And she's like, this is crazy. So her husband, his dad, or his dad's mom, which had been her husband's grandfather, but she worded it like his dad's, you know, whatever, mother. She had the eye, and when she was sick in her deathbed, she was talking to her mother, which would have been somebody that she didn't know that person's family. She didn't know that, and she was naming names from that other side, and they were like, "Holy crap! This is somebody she's never met or they had heard of." But she was talking, giving them names and stuff, you know. So that was, she said she believed in the paranormal. She saw it with her own eyes and heard it with her own ears. But to see that Gaspara, whatever it's called, Gasparata, whatever, that thing, whatever they call it, that thing is evil little gremlin looking thing. And they're all over that castle. She says it's like they've colonized it, you know. Here's the thing that people don't understand too. They don't realize that demons can breed. They do. And they have offspring. They think, well, it all just happened. They died in the flood, or what if you believe in the Nephilim theory, whatever. But they don't realize that they actually create new generations. They do. They absolutely do. And most cultures believe in all that. It's our culture that's kind of like ignorant about it. We're like, that's not, you know. We hit on a lot of weird topics last night. Me and Christopher Jordan. You know, Jordan and I can talk forever about all this stuff, this wackiness. Monica, were you at the conference in shirts? Were you there?
The conference with shirts?
In Shirts, Texas.
No. I was in California that week and I couldn't go.
Okay, because I thought I'd met you there, or I thought I'd saw you there when we were at the dinner. I guess I didn't. I don't know.
I look like a lot of people apparently.
Yeah. You just have that everybody face.
I do. I have that face that just.
I don't. Mine is this Cabbage Patch head. Campbell's Soup is good food head. You know, that kind of face. Everybody just like, oh, look at that guy. Look, what is wrong with his head? His head is just so weird but strangely attractive. I don't know. It's odd. I'm kidding. But no, you get that you got that face. But you know, it's not a bad thing. it's symmetrical. You're not like people look at you like, oh, what the heck's wrong with you? You don't have scars all over you.
Well, I wouldn't say that I look like
You don't look like
I
Frankenstein's monster, you know.
A lot of people come up to me and tell me I look just like their cousin or their friend. Or
are these men? Because these men are just lying so they can talk.
These are women. I
oh, well, then maybe they're being honest.
Like saying that
because men will go up to you and be like, hey, you like to wear shirts? I wear pants and clothes. Wow, what's up? You know, you're like, yeah, okay. They'll come up with any reason to talk to a pretty girl. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. I'm like when I first got together with my wife, she would be like, that guy's so nice. He's so nice. I'm like, yeah, men are nice. They're so nice. They are, yeah, and they're too nice because they want to talk to you because you know. Motives. They're just like, here, you're in line at the HEB buying groceries. So I do the same thing. Imagine that. We have so much in common. You buy lettuce, I buy lettuce.
Wow.
She looks in the basket. There's no lettuce. Well, I was about to go get some. I know what? I'm in line, but I forgot the lettuce. How about that? How about you just shut up and don't talk to my wife? How about that?
I'm the one chicks cross the street for. They're like, nope. Going to the other sidewalk. You're not doing
yeah, I mean, but you know, it is what it is. So people are going to come up and be very nice to you, Monica. I mean, I know they will. When you were at the door, that was a boon because Starscream came up to me and he's like, hey, man, it's good to have the pretty girl up there at the front door, man, because, you know, because I'm not the best looking dude. And he's like always saying that. And I go, well, you take your shirt off. You look like a freaking, you know, bodybuilder.
Yeah.
I mean, he's ugly in the face. So I tell him that all the time. Like, Starscream, your face is hideous. If you had the COVID mask on, you'd be really hot. Just put the Bane mask on and be like, welcome to the conference. Oh, don't touch anything. You know, like that's
morning, children. Yeah.
So what we did, and Abe and Joe, y'all were at the conference, right? So we put Monica there on Saturday. Was it Saturday, right? You did the front?
I did Friday night and Saturday and Sunday for most of the day.
Okay, I don't remember you on Friday. I remember meeting you Saturday.
You were busy.
I think you're lying. You weren't there.
I was there because I remember Ken went and sat me down and then he was like, have a good time. And I was like, I'm going to be here alone. Like, you didn't even tell me what. Ken gets aggravated too. Like, so we had to talk about the new conference and Ken's like, are we going to do this? And I was like, no. And he goes, oh, thank goodness. Because it's just stressful. We got a lot going on. And I said, let's just take it easy this year. I'm not taking it easy. I got a lot to do. I got books to write. So I told him, I said, I got a lot of things to do. I got a lot of things to write. Because Ken told me 2 years ago, he's like, you need to write a book because then you'll be right there on top. And I'm like, you're saying that because you're an author. Yeah.
You're an author. I mean, that's what, you know. But I said, you know what? You're right. And I've been wanting to write a book. But, you know, and I just was like, look at my hands. Look at the salad fingers. Do you think that these are going to write a book? No, that's what Dragon Speak is for. So, yeah, but it was good that you were there because I think that it helped people become a little more at ease because you got Starscream standing there, you know, like, you know, Squid broke his ankle right before the conference, or you'd had him there too, and then you'd had two big guys, scary people.
Well, Starscream was really cool, and I got to tell you, and he was so sweet, right? He was very nice to me the whole weekend.
He's a nice guy.
I can't remember his first name because once you told me his nickname was Starscream.
That's it. He hates that too, but don't give him anything. He doesn't deserve it because he was a little Starscream. And when I was running the club, he'd come up and be like, Wolf is down. I'm in charge. And I'm like, I just tripped, dude. I'm good. What are you doing? Like, I stumbled. I'm good. I went home one time because I had the flu. And he solidified his name because he took over and took charge. And he's like telling guys twice his size what to do. And they're like, dude, ain't nobody. You know, Chico is his luchador. He's 6'7". He's at the door and he's like, okay, little dude, you get out of my face, man. Starscream's not little, but he's little to him. And he's 3 inches taller than me. And Chico's a big guy. And I come back and he's like, I'm glad you're back because your little, you know, guy over here just thinks he's in charge. And my brother was calling me, you know, this guy's over here telling me what to do. You better watch it, you know. And so we just said, Starscream, you know. Like, so I don't even think I came up with the name. I think it was Squid that actually did that. He said, there's a Starscream over here from the Transformers. You know, you're that guy that wants to be in charge. And so when he first met my wife, he's like, call me Isaac. That's his name.
That's his name. That's right.
So she goes, yeah, I'll call you Isaac. I said, no, we call him Starscream. Everybody knows him as Starscream. That's what we're going to call him. We've been calling him that for 20-something years. We ain't changing it now. And he's all like, yeah, I want to be called Isaac. I was like, well, that's what your mom and dad can call you, but we're going to call you Starscream.
That's right, because I was calling him Isaac all weekend up until the point where you and I were sitting there talking, and he was standing next to us, and you said, Starscream, and I'm like, what? And you said, oh, that's Isaac's nickname. And I just smiled and turned, and I was like, your nickname Starscream, really?
Yeah. And it's, now it's not really so much like that. It was, but at the time that was, because it was a different time, and so he wants to change it. I said, you can't change it. Like, just like Chief or Loki, those guys, they've been on the show. You can't change your name. You don't just go and say, oh, you know what? I'm not going to be this guy anymore. I'm going to be this guy. No. You are what you are.
Change it to what? What does he want to change it to?
This is the truth. I'm not going to lie to you. If he tries to say otherwise, I'm going to tell him he's lying in front of everybody. He started. It's going to be so embarrassing for him. Okay, here it goes. And Starscream's going to watch this later and then message me. You watch. He started telling people his nickname was Zeus.
I had Zeus in my head. That's hilarious.
No way. Okay. So people would come to the club and he would be like, I'm Zeus. And so Scorpion started calling himself Snake because we told, and here's why Scorpion didn't like his nickname at first. I said, you're like that Scorpion and the Frog. You sting the frog, because he made me mad. I said something like that. And so everybody started saying, yeah, that's what you are. And so he got upset. So they changed their nicknames to Snake and Zeus. And I said, what is this? Nobody, you don't give yourself the nickname. I didn't even give myself this nickname. I was called Wolf Boy, and thank God it got changed to Wolf. And then they called me the boy that cried werewolf. That was another one in the field house. They'd be like,
really?
You're Wolf Boy, until I knocked the crap out of them in practice. And then they'd be like, hey, what's up now? You call me Wolf Boy? Yeah, I am the wolf. That's it. But these guys, they got nicknames, and they wanted to change them to some other stuff or whatever.
So that just makes me think of the cartoon from back in the day with oh gosh, Hercules.
Yeah.
With Zeus and Snake, and I just remember like they took one of the like pain or whatever it was and turned him into a snake and threw him like a thunderbolt. Now,
you want to hear what my brother wanted to call himself? Get this, Rathelgar.
Where did that come
joking?
from?
He was all into Viking culture, so he decided he was Viking or some crap. I mean, our dad's side has mostly Northern European, which is what it is. But I told him, I said, yeah, my dad's family pretty much, he's like 90% Viking. But I said, dude, what is this? You're Rathelgar now? What is that?
Rathelgar? Sounds like a fish.
Sound like a Viking, or something.
Yeah, he goes, no, and this is how he did it too. This is how he did it. And Joe, you could appreciate this. 6th Street so dirty and whatever. And we're hanging out. We're downtown. We were drinking at this place called Platinum X. Not there anymore.
Yep, I know Platinum.
And so my friends used to own that place, and then they all got indicted and went to prison. And then a couple of them got deported or whatever. They're from the Ivory Coast. What's crazy though is like we're out there, we're drinking, we're hanging out, and I think Scream was there that night, and we were sitting there talking, and my brother just like slams a pint glass down. He goes, "I want to be called Rathelgar."
Out of nowhere.
And my friend Rome he's from Germany, and Roman was like, "What?" And so my friend Pete, he's been on the show too, talking about the house we lived in is haunted, and Pete was like, "You're just gonna do that right now. You're just gonna change your nickname to Rathelgar." He goes, "Well, you're Pete." He goes, "Yeah, I'm Pete." We called him the accountant. And I said, "Yeah, but we call him Count because of the accountant, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, well, you're the accountant, so I'm Rathelgar." And so that went on. He kept telling people that for like about 2 weeks, and it didn't catch on. He literally thinks that I went person to person and told people not to call him that. I said, nobody's going to call you that. You were called Diablo for freaking 10 years, and then you're going to change it to Rathelgar, and overnight people will say, okay, yeah, we're going to call you that. Look how long that is, Rathelgar.
That's a lot in the mouth, right? It doesn't roll off the tongue.
Does not roll off the tongue, and he's like, well, I don't want to be called a devil or a demon or whatever. I said, it's Diablo. It's in Spanish. It's more of a fun thing. So I convinced him to quit asking for a new nickname because that's what he was trying to do. But let me ask you a question, Joe. How did you get breezy? How did you do? How did that happen?
Well, actually, that's actually pretty interesting. So, when I was a young kid, when I was running around Reagan High and everything, everyone called me Rabbit. You know, like it was just one of those things. When I got a little bit older, my nickname for a long time was Biggin, because this dude I met from Houston, he was like 5'6", and I was like already 6 foot, about 16 years old or something. And he's like, "What's up, Biggin?" And then it just stuck.
Oh, Biggin. I think you said bigot, like old school bigot.
No, Biggin, like big dude, you know.
Yeah.
And so whenever I got into the Juggalo thing and I started actually doing music, I was reading this book from that Violent J wrote called Behind the Paint. And in it, he's talking about how his real name, Violent J's real name, is Joe Bruce. And so he said he was playing with names and went from like Joe Busy, it started doing like the Snoop Dogg language. So Joe Brizzy, Joe Brizzy's, Joe Busy's, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, Joe Brizzy. I was like, Joe Breezy, you know, and then it actually just, it stuck. And that's when there wasn't like real online stuff much going on. It was mostly like blogs. And so I was on a blog called HoustonJuggalos.com. And that's just was my username. And I went to go to a show as a fan, not as a you know, an artist or anything. And the whole camp of Houston Juggalos were there, and they were like, "Joe Breezy, what's up, man?" And I was like, "Oh, it's stuck." And so that ended up becoming my stage name.
So Josh, I'm telling everybody not to call you that. That's what
Okay, so Joe, Abe, we got to come up with a nickname for Monica. What can we call Monica? What the nickname?
I got a lot of them.
You got a lot of them. Oh my gosh! Like, it's really, you got a lot of nicknames. Like, how? What do you?
They're just abbreviations.
What kind of person are we hanging out with here, folks? Pastor Jack would not approve.
And it's the quiet ones you gotta watch out for.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Because I observe, and then if I have to act, it's sneaky.
Then you attack.
I do, actually.
Eagle Fang.
Yeah.
Hey, what was that one episode where we did?
Oh, yeah.
Abe was like, "You scared me."
Oh, the screech.
The screech. Abe was like, "That sounds like a harpy." What'd you say?
Lechuza.
Yeah. Monica.
The Monica lizard. That's a good. Donnie Cho is hilarious. Like, okay, so Donnie came up with what? Monica Lizard. Folks at home, pick a nickname for keep it nice, nothing mean or whatever. Just but if you can think of we gotta come up with one for Abe too. I don't know. We gotta come up with a nickname for Abe. What would Abe's nickname be? Oh.
Well, I had a nickname in the Army.
What was it?
They would call me the Ultimate Warrior.
Ultimate Warrior.
That's what my friends would call me. Because I was always getting a lot of fights.
Yeah. Well,
but they still call me Ultimate Warrior to this day. You know, it's been like 30-something years, and that's what they call me. But you know, it's like my friends that were in the Army with me, but I just tell everybody to call me Abe. But my other friends from back home, the names wasn't good. They call me the magnetic one. They'll call me Puto. And they will call me, what was the other one? No, those are the ones that will call me.
They call him Milo Chingon. How about that?
Yeah, that's when I was growing up, you know.
You're growing up.
Then I just to tell everybody, just call me Abe, you know.
Yeah.
Because my real name is Abram.
Mm-hmm.
I make fun of my name. Abram down the street. My last name is CS Run.
CS Run.
And why you don't name me like this? I'll tell my mom, why you name me his name? So I said, you know what, just everybody just call me Abe. But then I named my son Abram Jr. But he's not he tells everybody to call him Abram. So
Well,
he
here we
likes his
got
name.
Abraham Lincoln. We could just call you Braham.
He said if he ever, whenever he has a child, that if it's a boy, he's going to name him Abram the Third. That's what he says. But actually, the real name that I used to like, is my personal name that nobody knows, it would be Wolverine. Because I would feel like a Wolverine, especially like in with the places I've been.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't had no mercy. Just do what you got to do. So
got the Wolverine and Starscream, and we can just start collecting sets.
We just start making them. I was thinking about doing because I'm into cards, sports cards, trading cards. I thought about doing cards. Yeah, I was thinking about it because I found a place. Well, I didn't find a place. I have a friend who has a business, but he was telling me he could make some.
Yeah.
Just like you could do the board game or whatever. Yeah. And so you can make these cards, these trading cards, and it could be just something for the community, and I thought about it first, just giving them away and seeing how they do, And they would just be cryptids and paranormal and ghosts and stuff. And then we could get people on the cards, people from the community. And you could make like 100 card set, and if people want to collect them, and you can make them nice. I've seen some how they look. They're not bad. A buddy of mine invented a game. This guy, David, him and his brother made a game, and it was a card game, like a card game. And it's really nice how they did it. And so, the guy that did that for them, he can do it. So, and then I met these other people from Moldavia who actually do that too. And so I thought that would be cool. They could do that along the lines of the board game, with the card or whatever. But
they do that. They do that in underground music a lot. They actually do. They'll do like super groups and stuff where you'll get certain underground artists from different cities, and they'll combine them. And then they'll do like you said, the 100 piece card system. Speaking of that, I wanted to touch back now that you brought it up. I still got old school Garbage Pail Kids cards.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude.
They're still around. They make new ones every year.
Yeah,
Really?
I got some new ones. But I still got the old 80s ones. Yeah, like in a portfolio type looking thing.
You know what? We should ask the audience about that. Like, what kind of creatures or monsters would you guys be interested in? When we did the board game, which is done, we just got to do another. Which all we need is the test run, but the money situation changed because I had to send letters to people to stop harassing us. Which did go out, by the way, folks. That did happen, and then there's going to be more because I'm not playing around anymore. I told my lawyers, I'm just like, and I'm not joking. I'm dead serious. I'm going after you keep talking, you're going to get messed with. Don't mess with me. Don't mess with us. Leave us alone. We're not messing with you. So what we're doing now is basically just, somebody does whatever, says whatever, we're going to put a stop to it, because we can't have them just making up wild crap, and it's just, it hurts the brand when they lie, like to just say the things they do. And so that had to happen, but we did find somebody that can sell us some camera equipment. Hopefully it'll be at a reasonable price. And so my friend owns a bar. I'm going to tell you a quick story, folks. Here we go. There was a Bigfoot sighting out near Cistern. And now people probably know my friend, as I've talked about, he owns a bar out there. And there was a Bigfoot sighting out there. And literally, get this, there's hogs all over the place out there. And so my friends, Reinhard, he's from Belgium, and then my other friend, thank you. Whoa, look at that. Holy crap.
Wow, Liberty.
That is an amazing donation there. Thank you so much, Liberty. You're the best. Anyway, you and Rita Burnett, Cat Hunter, and all you guys that come through and help, everybody, Donnie Cho, everybody that's donated. Thank you so much for being the biggest part of PRT and helping do what we got to do, because there are people out there. That's why I don't keep it behind a paywall, so we can get everybody, you can enjoy the entertainment. So this is a crazy one. And Abe, I don't know. I thought about you when I heard this story, because a DDN or something else, or something that cloaks, I don't know. But the story, oh my gosh, there's something behind you. Joe. Okay. Oh, it's your wife. That was a close one, folks. That was a close one. Oh my gosh.
I got.
You got, Joe. Joe, I got you, man. I got you. Get away from him, demon. What's up,
It's
Jen?
puffing
Did
in
she
me.
hear me?
No, she good. He's just
Can't hear
saying
you?
what's up.
Put the headphones on her for a minute so I can say hi to her at least. Let me see if you put the headphones on.
I got you.
You can sit down and chill. We're okay. We need more females. And I tried to get Nellie, and she's like, I'm too shy. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're just being stubborn. But we need more. Throw Nellie in there, and we'll have 3 pretty girls on the show.
Yeah,
Abe, go wake your wife. Tell her it's time to dance. Bring her out.
She can hear you now.
What ended up happening? There was this what they saw out there when they were clearing there, because they had just bought it and they were trying to build it into a whatever. There was a guy that came out there and he said that he saw this like a pixelated looking thing. They'd see this kind of like a cloaking looking thing, and it walked across this like there's like a big yard right there, like, but then it goes into like a pasture, and he had a hog underneath its arms. The weird thing was that they could see this hog being kind of carried by this sort of being or whatever the hell it was. And it was unbelievable because this thing, the way it was carrying, it looked like an invisible being was like almost like the hog was floating, but you couldn't see through the being to see the hog because it was like pixelated or whatever. And then they realized that as it walked, the legs first started to become more like flesh and blood, and then it became like a Bigfoot. What was even weirder about this encounter was that it was like the hog was alive, but like it was like laying there limp, and then it kind of woke up, and then it just kind of like the hog was moving around. And this thing was carrying what they said they estimated the hog was about 250 pounds. Like it was under its arm, like it was nothing. And so I was wondering about that. I mean, would that be? And then it just went into the woods and was gone. And when it turned to the side, they said it was almost like a 2-dimensional being, which was weirder even still. So I was thinking one of our investigations needs to be, we need to go out to Cistern into that place and take a look.
I've seen something like that on Fort Hood when it's coming down the tank trail.
There's a lot of stories like that at Fort Hood. Yeah.
It was pixelated. But it was a nighttime when I seen it. And it was changing different pixels, and I seen it through my thermal vision, and my driver seen it too. That he hit the brakes because it just walked in front of the tank, and it was changing different colors. Like it had a cloak, but like it was short, like had a short of some sort, so he couldn't keep a certain pixel. So is it military? But for it to be picking up a pig like that, he has to be something else, that with one arm.
Yeah.
Right.
And I thought about this when me and Ash were talking about it. We were all sitting at the bar talking about, I don't drink anymore, folks, whatever. But he owns a bar and grill, it's really a restaurant, but it's really good turkey legs. You got to go. If you haven't been to Spinners, go eat a turkey leg, folks. And maybe you'll get our Ash if he's there, and he can tell you some wild stories. He can verify the things I'm saying too. I have a bunch of people who were there back in the day when all this stuff was going on. This is not make believe. So what ended up happening, he was talking about it to one of his customers or whatever, and they were saying that they had seen something similar to this pixelated whatever, but it was carrying a deer. So it almost looked like the deer was floating in the air, but it was being drugged by something invisible because you could see the legs up. And this was outside of Burnet, Texas. It's not that far from here.
Crazy.
That's the land of the Bear King. That and Marble Falls, all that. And
Burnet's creepy,
Shoals.
man.
Yeah, and so you get these weird encounters. I'm going to do a show on Monday. I'm going to plug it now with a guy who had a terrifying encounter at a state park. And there are 2 other state parks I'm going to talk about, including a story from that state park. And he's going to be on the show with me. It is going to be very interesting and I think that he needs to talk about this because we're talking about these cults and what they do, and they need to be exposed. And one of my friends had said something to me recently from this community, and he said, "Dude, say it. Come out and say it." So because if you don't say anything, then that's their power. They have that power. But once you're coming out and you're talking about it, you're exposing it, then everybody knows. You take a lesson from the people who are talking about the other people like that's going on in the music industry and in Hollywood, because now the people are coming out and saying it. And I'm going to quote Cat Williams here. He goes, if you're over there lying, he goes, you're going to have a bad time right now. He goes, people telling the truth, it's coming out. You know, he's right. I didn't agree with everything he says, and he says some things that are kind of raunchy, but the truth is the truth. I mean, what he's saying is like he's coming out and saying it, you know, and like if we all did that and just called these people to the floor for their BS, then we would not be where we're at, and we wouldn't have to be sitting there going like, well, you know, I can't say this or that because this person might try to, you know, let them try now because everybody's coming out and saying what needs to be said. And if we all just did that and we stopped being afraid or in fear of what the repercussions, they can't stop all of us.
Right.
They can't, you know. And the other day, somebody sent me something. It was Joe Rogan talking to Alex Jones. And so Alex said something that was just, and I'm like saying Joe and Alex, they say all kinds of stuff, and I'm not condoning or going against them or whatever. I have mutuals with both of them, and I actually met Alex. But, you know, one of the things, though, you know, that they were talking about, and Joe asked him a question, and Alex said, you know, yeah, he goes, there are literal vampires. He said that. I just heard it for the first time last week, and he said, but I guess it was older thing. I hadn't heard it before. But he said something, you know, what he said, he went further in, you know, that I haven't heard this, but he had said that we're living in the simulation. Like he admitted that he thought that, and that it's run by these vampires. And people are just like, wow, he's nuts. He has just totally lost his mind now. And Joe's just smoked himself stupid. And these people are, and so they're all up in arms about it. But the truth is the truth, and it's really hard for people to swallow. But the truth is, the Hollywood elites, I'm going to say this, and the music industry too, they're run by vampires. I'm not joking. I am not kidding, folks. I am telling you the truth. Take it for what it is. People think I'm crazy. They're going to say all kinds of horrible things, and their little automaton NPCs are going to be like, that guy, and they say a bunch of crazy stuff because they don't even know why. And Abe, you and I were talking about it on the phone the other day. And Abe said, he goes, they do what they do, and they don't even know why they do it. That was you who told me that, Abe. You said, yeah, they don't even know why they're doing what they do. It's like they're programmed. It's a program. They're just saying things, and it's the truth. You know, I had the same conversation with Joe, you know, about these people that they're doing what they do. And they're calling up everybody and saying all kind of wild stuff. If they stopped and they really examined themselves, you would have to ask yourself, why am I so committed to this destruction of this person, you know, or people? And they themselves don't even know. That's a sad thing, is that they don't. And I forgive them because I know that they're not in their right, not I'm going to say right mind. I'm going to go with Brother Abe said they're not in their right soul. You know, they're not in the right spirit. You know, and then like you, Joe, what you told me, it's something you told me in confidence. I'm not going to repeat it unless you wanted to, but like you went head to head with someone that you love very much, and you told them you're wrong, and you risked ostracization and everything else. And
Right.
You told them that you felt like this, you had to say what is true.
Right.
And that took a lot of courage because, you know, you could have destroyed a bridge between you and that person that you loved and you cared about and you were close to. People weren't willing to do that. They're just going to be like, for the sake of not fighting with people that they love and that they care about, they're not going to say anything. And like you, Monica, I'm going to say something else about your character. And we have somebody in common. I'm not going to even hint around or whatever. And that person has said and done some very mean, bad things to both of us, right? And you didn't even let on anything about that person at all. You didn't even let on, and I didn't even know until another mutual friend of ours said, yeah, that dude did, you know, and he was saying some very mean and nasty things, and you were just like, you know, Like, I don't know if I could do that because, well, I didn't, because me and him got into it.
Yeah.
And then he had cursed out one of our mutual friends that had helped me with the conference. And I got on the phone. I was like, look, mother effer. And then it went sideways. And then another mutual friend of ours that everybody knows in the community is a very famous guy. And he mediated between me and that person.
Mm-hmm.
But it got to where I was like, look, dude, you know, if you're going to show up, you better act right. You better come with respect. All right. Because he didn't respect me at his house. So that's what got me. It was like, you're going to come to my house. You better respect me. And I did take a little shot at him. I did a little something, you know, but I was aggravated, you know, to that point where I was like, he had disrespected my friend's wife and my wife. And this other guy that he disrespected is very well known. Y'all all know him. He's one of my best friends. And so, but Monica, you didn't volunteer anything. Like, I got it out of you, you know, because, you know, but you were like, nah, I don't talk about people. And Joe's same way. You didn't want to talk about people. You don't talk about, and Abe, you didn't volunteer nothing. It was like, y'all are nice, good people. You really are nice, good people, or you wouldn't be on here. I didn't choose you for a popularity contest. I chose you because of your moral character and your moral intestinal fortitude. There are people out there who will sell their soul for anything. They don't care.
Yeah.
They get hungry for some Dunkin' Donuts and be like, where's the devil at so I can make a deal?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's the average person nowadays, you know. But you got people who are just foul, and they will do anything or say anything. So you got these beings that people are seeing everywhere, and they want to control a narrative for what? Like, what are you getting out of this?
Right,
because
right,
I can
yeah,
understand
yeah.
why Finding Nothing does it. I know why, you know, Dumb Adventures does it. I know why all those hacks do what they do, because there's money involved. These jokers aren't even making money.
Yeah, no.
Was it popularity? What are you doing?
Yeah, I recently actually as of yesterday, I broke ties with a individual I was doing shows with. He like thought he was big shit because he got like 1.5 thousand likes. And I'm like, dude, so what, dude? Like, this is like, I'm sorry, dude. This is not something that you just go, oh, now I'm bigger than you and better than you.
So you want to be a rock superstar?
Yeah, you
Drive
want to be a superstar, yeah.
Big house,
Stupid,
man.
Yeah. Yeah, you can go on that train, dude. And that's cool. Do your thing, man. But, you know,
Make sure.
But I think, you know, a lot of it also has to do with when we grew up, you know, and, you know, like, dude, these people nowadays, like, they couldn't take a Yo Mama joke to save their freaking life.
We used to tear each other's souls out of our body. You know, dip it in detergent and put it back and be like, dude, they would the you mama jokes ain't nothing. We talk about everything. It was called the cut down contest.
Yeah.
Y'all remember these?
Exactly.
I know you do, Abe. You're in the military. Y'all probably tore each other up apart.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
A
you're
lot
talking
worse
about
than
the
mama
color of
jokes.
people's nipples, dude. You're like, why your nipples look like pepperonis, dude? What's wrong with you, man? You're all pale. You got pepperoni. What's wrong, dude? What is that salami? What is going? The guys are just horrible to each other.
Right.
I mean, just absolutely horrible.
Vicious,
the things that
dude.
people would come up with,
Vicious.
and they'd be like, you know, like we had this one guy, Curtis, poor guy, and his eyebrows. He always looks surprised. He's like this all the time, you know. So I was in there. I was making fun of him, and I was like, you know, we were in class or whatever, and I was like, you always look like you're surprised. I'm like, you know, like he doesn't blink. And so when I didn't know this, and I was like, you're a big old dude. Why don't you play football, man? And he's like, oh, I had an accident. I broke my neck. I'm like, dude, I'm over here making fun of the way he moves and stuff. And I was like, dude, I was making fun of you. You could have said, hey, look, dude, I had something happened to me when I was young. And he was like, well, I didn't want you to like get mad and smack me. I was like, I'm not gonna smack you. I'm like, dude, if you just said that, look, dude, you know, you're making fun of me, because that's how we were back then. And people were like, oh, you're making fun of me. And then they would say things about me. Like my friends come over to the house and never see my parents. They're like, do you have parents? Man, you don't even have parents, bro. So then later on, one of my friends, Ricky, he was a big black dude. I used to hang out with him. He would say we would say horrible things to each other, just talking trash, you know? And he'd be like, he goes, well, Wolf don't even have parents. That dude just raised himself. His mom and dad, he don't even live. He lives in a house by himself. He's an orphan. His mom and dad just left him there because they don't love him. They don't keep, and it kind of hurts a little bit. And you're going like, I'm a latchkey kid. And I'm like, yeah, it does. And I said, look at your high top fade, bro. You don't get Kid and play his hair back. What are you doing, bro? And we talk trash to each other, right? That's how you roll. You don't, and you don't go, oh, what's up, dog? We're from throw chingazos. Like, we're talking mess, man. We're talking smack, and we cut each other down. That's what we did.
Thick skin, man. Thick skin. Because, like, all that. And that was our freaking motto. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you.
Yeah.
Straight up.
We used to say stupid things like that too. Sticks and stones will break your bones, but AK-47 will light your ass up. Like stupid things.
Right.
And the women would do it too. We'd all be hanging out, and they'd be like, "Ay, Cholita, why you got that lipstick on? Why do you want to have Joker lips? You look like the purple. Why are you doing with the purple lips, man? Like for real, they would just talk a bunch of trash, call each other Bozo the Clown and all this stuff. And you're gonna get a man looking like Bozo, and just talking a bunch of mess. I grew up like that. People nowadays are like, I'm gonna, you know what I'm gonna do to you? Because you said some mean words to me. I'm calling the police. I'm like 911. Yes, some mean words were said, and I am very hurt. And the police are like, did you get struck? Yeah, struck by the words that hit me in the forehead, and now I'm bleeding. I'm hemorrhaging from the, shut up, man. Shut up. Words, though, if it's said in malice, though, words can hurt really bad. They can cut deep, but it depends on how you take it.
Well, if you take the person's opinion for anything, then that will hurt. But if I don't care what you think of me, then you're a bigger POS than you're making me out to be, then whatever, dude.
It's the credence that you put it behind how much you feel about what they actually have to say. The only time, like back in the day, that I ever got actually hurt for saying something to somebody that was calling them is when I accidentally called my mom dude one day. I was like, dude. I was like,
my mom was a Mexican mom, and one time, because my cousins do this, my Aunt Beverly, I love her to death. She's a great woman, but my cousins, they're kids, and they're very respectful, except one thing. They call her Beverly. Now, I don't understand that. I could never call my mom and dad, by their names. So I called my mom by her name one time, and she came running out of the kitchen with the wooden spoon ready to hit me. She was making carne asada, and she's in there, and she had the phone, with the cord, and she's whatever. And my tia was on the other line, and they would talk forever about nothing, right? And I went in there, and I was like, Mom, mommy, mama, ma, madre, mom, like, hey, and she turned around, what pendejo, what, and like, so she turned around, and I was like, mom, so I said, Mary Ann. She turned around and she went, what? And she said, hold on. She like ran at me with that wooden spoon. I ran out the front door, and she threw it at me, and it went by me, and I turned around, I was like, ha ha, and then that no baloney, wasn't a chancla, but it was a slipper, and that thing just went right in the face. It didn't hurt, but it got me. I was like, oh, okay, you got me. And then I was laughing about it. And then you know what she did? She goes, oh, you want to laugh, pendejo? Fuera. You outside. Yeah, laugh outside, eh? She locked the door. No mentiras. I went around the other side of the back, and I'm like, Mom. And she goes, Mom's not here. Mary Ann's here. And I said, can you let me in? Because they were eating, right? And my sisters and my dad, and they're all eating comida, and the carne asada and whatever. And I'm in the window like a baboso. I'm like, hey. And my dad gets up, and my mom's like, nah, siéntate, no, let him sit outside. You want to play afuera? Go outside. You want to play? Play. You play with my slipper out there. Go ahead, play with it. And so then about 9 o'clock, I was just sitting out there with the dogs, and my mom's mean, and my mom let me back in. She goes, get the plate and go eat, and then go to bed. Get away from me. So the next day, we're driving. I had to go to like a doctor's appointment because I was a kid. I had allergies real bad. We're living out in West Texas. She told me, she goes, why? She's driving. She remembers things like from the day before. Like, who does this craziness, man? And their sister was like, whose brain is like, this is my mom. And she's like, so pendejo, you want to call me Mary Ann, huh? You want to call me that? And I'm like, I said something stupid. I was like, oh, ¿cómo te amo? So she goes, oh, my name? You don't know my name? You want to know my name? You know my name? But you know who? I'm your mom. I'm your mother. Yeah, I'm your mom. And I'm like, okay, all right, you're my mom. Say something smart mouth like, well, what is your name? Like, well, you think you're funny, you think you're cute. And we get to the clinic and she's already like reached over and pinched me. And I'm like, ow. And I always made it a big deal, even though it didn't hurt, And she'd be like, keep it up, pendejo. Watch what happens to you. Watch what happens to you. Watch. And she would be like one of them. She would smack me too, man. Like just with every syllable, no bull crap. So I get out and I was like, why are you so mean? And she's like, I'm mean. You're always mean. You're talking about being mean, chingon, all this. And then she was always calling me chicante too, like I was too good for whatever, And she goes, come on, we're going to the clinic. Come on. And she grabbed me and then she would stop and she would turn to me. And this is what she would tell me. She would say, we're going in front of these Willios. You better act like one. You better act good. You better act nice. And you say, yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Don't be speaking no Spanish. And you talk like them. And she would say, go inside. Go inside, huh? And act nice and smile. And she'd come in and be like, hi. Everything was, I'd be looking at her like, what the hell is wrong with this person, man? You were just pinching me out in the parking lot. When I was a little turd, I'd be like, why you hugging me and being nice to me now? Like she would get so mad. And she would smile at me. She'd go, I don't know what you're talking about. Why are you lying? Touching my head. That's not who that was. It's like Bill Cosby. I know he did what he did, but he had some funny stuff. And one of the things he said when my nephews were growing up, and they were like, she's so nice and so sweet, no, that is not the person that raised me.
Yeah, right.
Like Bill Cosby said, that's a person trying to get into heaven.
Yeah.
It's not, no way, dude. And then, her nieces and nephews too, they were like, Tia Marianne, and Abuelita, whatever. They the grandkid, everybody thinks that she's such a nice, sweet person. Like, that was not what happened. That's not how I was raised. The person that raised me before she had her near-death experience was a different person. It's just a different person, man. But she told
kids tougher in the 60s and 50s. Discipline wise.
They went through a whole different. My mom grew up in the projects, dude, and it was a different time. It was a different, and I remember going down to the valley, and we would have, and then my tia Hova would tell these horrific stories, Manos Paludos, and then all these stories about these La Chusa and all this crazy stuff. And I would always start off kind of like, yeah, okay, you're gonna tell me some scary stories, and then she would tell me some scary ass crap, dude. And then her husband at the time, Manuel, that was her second husband, and he would start talking about stories from Mexico, dude, with brujeria, and then he'd turn around and be like, "That's why we gotta light candles in San Juan," And I'm like, I get there, man. By the time, a 6-hour drive, by the time you got down to the valley, you were lighting candles like crazy, dude, because you were so scared. So it was kind of like a method to their madness to remind you that the supernatural is real and that it's something to be respected and feared. And so that you needed to behave because God's got your back, but you better, pay respect. And they had this whole idea that no matter how bad, things were, you always respected your elders. Yeah, I did that to a degree, but if you're going to disrespect me, I'm going to disrespect you back. And that was always my little deal. But I'd give anything to have another day with my mother or my great aunt, those people. My tia, one of my tias, Rosa, I was very close to her, and she had the eye. She had the eye for sure. And we would go down to San Juan to the mission, and I wasn't Catholic at that time. And I remember telling my mom, I'm like, we're not even Catholic. Why do we got to go to this? And she turns and grabs me, and she goes, the same reason you go to CCD, okay? You're going to kiss your great aunt's ass. You're going to enjoy it, okay? So we're going to go there, and you act like you're enjoying, you're having fun. I'm like, look over at my mom, and she'd be like, you better smile. And I'd be like, oh, okay, lighting candles. But I did it and prayed in earnest because I was terrified by some of these stories that they would give me. Yeah. I mean, and they scared the crap out of you.
Heck yeah.
I mean,
yeah, my grandpa, man, he had stories because they were Apache, but they grew up when he was young, they grew up in Mexico. And then my great grandma finally made it over here and raised all, I don't know, 7 of her kids or whatever. But yeah, those stories were friggin' terrifying. And I'm actually trying to put them in a book because I'm going to call it My Grandpa Told Me.
That's a good name. That you shouldn't have said that though. Somebody will take it. Don't ever tell the names of the books.
That's all right. They can have it.
I don't care. Change it to the book and say, I would have said things my grandpa told me book.
No, I mean, like if I really cared what other people did, then I'd be in a whole world of ish.
Right.
The only thing I care is when it starts costing me subscribers and reputation, because when I was younger, when I was at the downtown or whatever, I didn't care what people said about me. They said all kinds of horrible things. Even to this day, there's people in the security business that say silly, stupid things about me. There's a guy making up a rumor. We have these game rooms. I don't go in these game rooms. This guy said I was in one of these game rooms and I got beat up and he had to rescue me. This other security owner. I'm like, dude, this is a guy that I literally slapped unconscious in the office at the club we used to work at. And I'm like, oh, really? His name's Eddie. Your name is Eddie. You know who you are. And you said that you had to rescue me down on Old Torf, and you told your guards that. One of your guards told Zane, my nephew. And my nephew laughed and was like, yeah, that's not my uncle. I don't know who this guy is, but he didn't save my uncle. I can tell you that. He never did anything for me. But they say all kinds of stupid things, and I don't care. But this is different when you're in this, and you have something going. They want to try to undermine you any way they can. So I don't want people going and saying, hey, I can't listen to this show because these people said this crazy stuff about this guy. It's not true. Now, if you want to call me a reptilian, shape-shifting vampire werewolf, go ahead and call me whatever the hell you want. I don't give a crap. But don't talk about my wife and don't talk about my kids because you don't know them. Be quiet, That's where I draw the line. And this one guy, he's crossed the line over and over and over again, calling clients. I mean, really? Calling my business partner. My business partner ended up with a heart attack. You stressed him the hell out. I mean, this is beyond. This goes beyond anything kind of blocking and deleting. But who cares? You're not going to win in the end. Did you hear the song that we just played, Envy? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wicked man with his wicked ways, and that one goes for a lot of them. It's not just one guy. That's for all of y'all out there doing your wicked deeds, and doing what you're doing. But you won't win. Good will prevail, because there are consequences to this. Whether and you don't believe it or not, brothers and sisters, it's called karma. Yep. God uses it to take care of business. Believe me. And last night when Christopher Jordan was on with us, he was talking about quartz crystals, and Abe vindicated completely, because Abe has been talking about the energy with these, and then one of these yokels that lives up in Oklahoma talk about, they talk about crystals and doing kinds of magic and shit, and you're just like, and you're going like, and then Christopher Jordan, he gets on there with a very scientific explanation. He goes, well, then don't use your cell phone because, this is, the way he talks. I love the way he talks, man. And he was just like, yeah, because that is really what's going to happen in the future. We're going to use those because it's science, blah, blah, blah. And these people over there like writing it down. Oh, I'm going to go after him now because he's using magic. Like this one guy told me, or it was a woman, she said, you need to stop practicing the occult. How do you practice the hidden? What are you talking about? You don't even use the words correctly. You know what that is? It means hidden, stupid. So, you better stop practicing hidden. It sounds so damn silly, it's crazy. So Monica, when you were talking, back to you, we were talking about these sorry, the joking, but we're loose tonight. It's the 35,000 whatever shows. So we're just kind of hanging loose. But what you said, Monica, about the castles. Now we talked about that one, the one in Czech. That's not Czechoslovakia, right? Czech Republic. And you've talked about, what about Bullskin Castle? What do you know about that?
Actually, I don't know that I do know about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So let's look it up.
You're just dumb. You don't even know.
Don't hurt my feelings.
Look, more words, more mean words. No, what we're talking about though, Bullskin Castle. Jimmy Page. Do you guys know about that? About
Led Zeppelin? That's Aleister Crowley's spot.
Aleister Crowley's old stomping ground. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Ken was recently there. He was talking about, because he went on that expedition to the what do you call it, the Loch Ness Monster expedition. Mm-hmm. So I was at his place, and we were talking, and he was telling us about it and how exciting it was when he'd just come back. And he was saying, that they tried to sound like, when they were doing the little whatever, they were like, and Aleister Crowley actually was very nice and he loved kids and blah blah blah. And I'm going like they're trying to church it up about how this guy, who he was and what he was.
Joe Deertail.
So they're going like this dude was summoning demons.
Yeah.
I don't care what
Very
he did
much
for the
so.
war effort or what he did with but he did some really, really awful things,
I think him, between him and Parsons and that chick, when they were messing around with the atomic bomb stuff, I think they started something and they didn't close it. Like that's a very common theory amongst it, but I don't not subscribe to it because it's like a lot of weird stuff happened right after that. And that's when he started seeing Lamb, which very much looks like a gray alien, and so, yeah, I'm not kicking it out of bed. That's a very plausible argument as far as I'm concerned. They started because with all those spells, you have to open them and you have to close them.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things is he didn't know how to close it correctly.
That's why you don't open them. You don't summon.
Right. Yeah. Don't. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's ridiculous that people just go in there blindly, and so many people do it.
Yep.
So many people do it, and I don't understand that. I mean, is it cool because you think it makes you powerful, or I don't understand the thought process of that. Like, okay, you summoned a demon, or you open this portal to where, okay, now what?
Right. But in our world, it just goes along with the, don't start and that won't be nothing.
Exactly. I used to love saying that.
Leave it alone, man. Leave it alone. I'm not touching the Ouija board,
There was another one that was involved in it too, but I don't want to say his name because they'll probably sue me if I say his name. But he's another one that was involved. There was a third one now, and he created his own religion. But yeah. It's really freaky.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, because they will. Yeah, we'll start. They send me letters all the time. Just because I had a reading at the 290 flea market one time when I was 12.
At the Pulga. You went to the Pulga and had a reading.
Yeah. But no, I know exactly. Yeah, he was one of them too.
So I got a question for you, Joe. Speaking on that issue there, like, do you think that could be responsible for the modern UFO era too? A lot of people do.
As far as because that, if I'm not mistaken, and if I am, anybody in the chat or anybody here is welcome to correct me. That went down like literally right before the Roswell thing. So it was basically from my memory of it. I haven't brushed up on it in a while, but Parsons, Crowley, and this chick were talking about putting this almost like an embryo, like an orgied embryo into kind of like a nuclear device, and opening up a portal, and apparently it went haywire. Parsons got he met his demise in his way before Crowley wasn't even barely literate, let alone knew exactly what he was doing. There was a lot of misconjubulations about it, and they really didn't sew it up. And it is very odd how the Lamb thing looks like the gray alien thing before the gray alien thing was the gray alien thing. So did they open up a rift? Did they, same thing with like it's a completely plausible the same way that they're doing it just in a modern time is like with the CERN thing. They're opening up these pieces and portals. They're thinning out the veil in certain aspects that we don't completely understand. So if you don't understand it, you don't have any idea of the beginning and the ending of it. You can't really, if you accidentally turn something on that you don't know how you turned it on, you can't turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
And so that goes with a lot of things, like I was saying earlier, Ouija boards, whole 9 yards. You're creating a path to a different dimension, whatever you want to call it. You can call it a dimension, you can call it a parallel universe, you can call it whatever, but it's still the same aspect of it. You're dabbling in stuff that you don't have the complete knowledge of. Just like we were talking in the very beginning of the show with the mimics that mimic people's voices, like your mom's voice or whatever. That's why Christ literally says, do not talk to the dead. Like, because you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know what you're getting into. It's bigger than you and bigger than your mortal mind, because we're now on a spiritual plane. And a spiritual plane is so much more than anything that you can absorb in a physical body, because it's the next, it's ethereal. You know what I mean? It's on the other side. So, I think personally, yeah, I wouldn't kick the theory out. Whether a lot of people go, oh, well, he wasn't powerful enough to do that. It doesn't matter about the power that a mortal has. It has to do with the power that the spiritual alignment has. And like, we can incorporate the same thing about the possession, like A was saying, using weapons against them themselves that don't even know what's going on. You're using a weapon against your mortal existence or the mortal realm, and you don't even know what you're doing, because you're actually being guided by something that's more spiritual than mortal. So yeah, if you incorporate all that and put it together, then you got a witch's cauldron that's bigger than anything you can fathom, and can force you to put the right ingredients into the right spots and make bad things happen.
Yeah. We're talking earlier about the Italian werewolf story. That's just one of many that I got to get out. And another one I keep talking about, but we're going to do it, is the Dark Elves of the Inner Earth. And the City of Night. The City of Night's another one. And then, of course, the woman that went to Petra. These are all stories that we have to get out there. And that's why it's important that this guy comes on the show and talks about what happened to him in the state park. We talked about it on the podcast, but he needs to come out and you can see who he is and let him retell that. And because there's a lot that needs to go along with that, because things are happening in these state parks and national parks. And I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but they want to terrify us. So we don't go out into the woods. That's the thing that they're doing. And I think that they're trying to herd us into cities. It's easier for the vampires to get to you in the city. So the werewolves are out in the woods scaring you, right? I think that sounds silly. It sounds like the underworld, but that's what it is. That's what they're doing. And I think that it's a horrible. I think we got to be careful. I don't. Why am I whispering? I'm like Littlefinger. You better be careful. I don't know what you need to. What's his name? That guy actor. He was Abraham Gold or Abrahama Gold. It's Abrahama, right? On Peaky Blinders. He played Abrahama Gold. Yeah, he was one. He talks like this. He must have played Littlefinger, but his voice is pretty funny. Like he says, "So you're gonna get this man who's mentally deranged and high on cocaine to shoot somebody 5 feet from you." And that dude goes, "Yes, that's the plan."
I always use on the little finger thing. I always use literally my little finger because I chopped it off, so it's like literally.
Oh man!
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. Don't get drunk and work on an engine. It was chopping.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, I was lowering the engine into a like a 78 Chevy, and it was the motor mounts weren't lining up, and I was like, I'll just stick my finger in it. A little bit lower, a little bit lower. Fingers gone. So
Took a piece of it off. Dude, I thought my fingers were bad. They're all like deformed looking, and like, look at this one. It's all twisted sideways. You know, it doesn't even. Like, you know, and if I flick somebody off, it goes this way. You know, like, my fingers are bad, dude. I mean, I've broken them, and if you look at my shins look terrible. I don't know if you guys have saw me wearing shorts at the conference. I don't care. I wear them anyway. But there's knots, and there's just like indentions, and there's just scrapes, bruises, cuts all up and down my shins because I kickboxed. And so when you kick things enough with your shins, then that happens, you know. And so you end up, you know. And so I took it. I didn't learn it to the extent of like Chris Trammell or my friend Cobra, you know, those guys. Josh Scales, that's why they call him Cobra. But he's a trainer from Black Sheep here in Austin. So I know a lot of the kickboxers. But the thing is, you're going to have shins, messed up shins, if you're doing those shin kicks and you're kicking somebody. I broke a guy's leg one time behind the club. People think that I'm playing around. They want to talk and make fun of me, whatever. You have no idea. And I had my arm in a sling, because my freaking arm was messed up. And I hurt it really bad, you know, and I broke my hand right here, and then my arm was kind of messed up. And so this dude thought he was going to be cute and come up and confront me when my arm was in a sling. So I kicked him. I broke his femur, like just broke it. And the sound he made was ungodly.
The guttural.
And I was just like, please don't make that sound. It hurts my ears.
Did it sound like when a dogman is shape-shifting?
Yeah, it sounded like a cracking, popping noise, like the over the topness that they did, like on what's it called, American Werewolf in London. His hands like expanding, you know. You're like, dude, what is that? That's crazy, man.
That's a great one, man.
Yeah, dude. But the werewolf looks so weird. Like when he was on all fours, you look like a chunky, overweight dog.
Like a fat.
My friend Heather, she's my best friend. She's a chiropractor. She's a really great business. I give her a plug. She's awesome. What's it called? Relief. I can't remember I can't remember the name of it now. Anyway, Amazing Relief Chiropractic in Round Rock. She's the best chiropractor in Texas. I'm telling you, fix your back straight up. But she had a dog named Boo Boo, and this dog looked like a root beer, you know, barrel. It was like a beer barrel, like it was. And I said, look at I hadn't seen her Boo Boo in a while, and so she had this dog for like 17 years or something like that. And I hadn't seen her in a few months, so I went over there and we were visiting with her, and I was like, this dog, like this dog was normally like this, you know, it was like this. And this dog could barely walk. Came out like, because all that dog did was beg for food, and all Heather did was go, okay, and feed it. She's like, you know, really sweet person, but she just gives it food. And I'm like, what are you doing? You're feeding this dog, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger to the where it could barely walk. Well, and then I told her, I said, have you ever seen American Werewolf in London? And she's like, no, she really does not watch a lot of movies or TV. And so nothing that's agreeable to me anyway. And so she's a weirdo. But anyway, I told her, I said, that dog looks like American Werewolf in London. So she went and looked at a picture of it, and she goes, oh my gosh. I said, yeah, take Boo Boo's head and change it with that. That's your dog right there. That is, your dog is you know, American Boo Boo in Austin.
Like an overweight blue heeler.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Nicholas Bravo, thank you for that donation. He says, Josh, your nickname is now shape-shifting reptilian alien werewolf. You have to say the whole thing. Yeah, I guess so. I'll be like, welcome to PRT. I'm shape-shifting reptilian alien werewolf. I'm your host.
Anyway, if anyone accuses me of being a reptilian, they need to look at my air conditioning bill, because I keep it at like 62 degrees. I'll be like, I have
a theory about this. I'm going to say this because you know what we've talked about this too, Abe, you and I. What's crazy is people don't realize, like, out here, out here walking around out in the world, it's really like, the ocean spiritually. There is stuff around you that goes by you all the time. If you saw it and you knew what it was, you would
You wouldn't even be.
crap your pants, man. Just like the ocean. I was like 2 feet away from a tiger shark that was probably about 9-10 feet. I was a kid. I saw it. And I got my ass out of that water fast.
I bet.
Okay. And then one of my friends, he's not really a friend of mine. I can't claim that. I've barely met the guy one time, but he's a friend of a friend, and he got his arm removed by a bull shark. And so you have this, it's like the ocean. And so what's swimming around out here, you cannot fathom. And then these people that want to gift things and be like, okay, imagine if you moved into an apartment complex and you had some neighbors and they were a member of a gang. Pick one. I don't care. Whatever. Crips, Bloods, MS-13, whatever. They're bad dudes. You don't want to mess with them, right? But then they're like, oh, there's a couple of them that are really friendly with me. Yeah, they're cool with you, right? Until their friends decide that they don't like you or something. And then those guys are going to help them friends do something to you because they're a gang. And they have rules and they back each other up. And so demons are the same way. They may be benign to you to a degree. They may not mess with you. You may think that you're cool or whatever with them or whatever, these entities. But as soon as their little friends have a problem with you, because it will happen, because they're going to tell them, hey, why are you being friends with this human? I'm not joking. It's the same principle.
No,
and then they're going to come after you. And then what are you going to do? Because those ones that you thought you were cool with, they may turn on you too, but I guarantee you the other ones aren't going to like you because they have a society just like we do. And they don't like humans at all. And so I don't care how cool you are with them. It does not work. And you're living in the ocean and you don't even know it. And I can say this, there is something in the earth, on the inner earth. And I believe this is a possible theory, that these reptilians have become parasitized by something like a fungus, like this black goo. It's like this, and there's some of them that have this blue crap on them. It's like it looks like a fungus. They live down there in that inner earth, and they have their own society, whatever. And I really believe that could be part of what's going on. I know it sounds really weird, but when you go down the rabbit hole deep enough, you end up to the point where you've already accepted the fact that all this stuff exists, which is where you need to be. You need to understand that it does exist. And then you need to start understanding now you got the what, then you need to understand the how and the why. Mm-hmm. And the why is not always so cut and dry, but I can tell you this, they don't like you. They don't. They hate you. And in fact, they'll eat you. And that's their thing. They do. I'm going to bring a guy on the show, and I'm not joking. And this guy is willing to talk about it. And I just got a lot of people I got to record with. And I've been saying that, but I'm in the middle of a lot of things right now. But this guy, he can tell you, he saw one of these things bite a dude's head off. Well, the back of his head anyway, in an elevator.
Ugh.
And so that's not the only time I've heard of this. I mean, there was a lady at a house party. She was in LA, of course. And I'll tell you this. She's like not even makes no bones about it. Okay. Her name was Loretta. And she said, you can use my first name. She's okay with that. She was at a club. She's hanging out with a guy that used to be like part of the entourage of this big rapper. And one of these dudes literally changed and like bit this guy's arm. Like his mouth opened up, and she said it looked, as Joe knows, it opened up like Baraka, and it bit his like his arm off right below and everybody thought it was like some sort of like game or joke. And this guy was screaming and yelling, and people were standing around just watching, and some of them were laughing because they thought it was like a magic trick. Or they thought it was like some kind of like hidden camera joke or something. And this guy walked outside, and then he was grabbed by two people and ushered away. And they're like, oh, he had to go to the hospital. Well, what the heck just happened? And the dude literally ate his arm.
Yep. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep. So this stuff happens. And this person that talked about it, they threatened her because she had said something about it. this is not a joke, people. These people do this out in the open because no one is going to believe it.
Because it's unfathomable almost, to take it as literal. Mm-hmm. And that's what they want you to think. That's same with with biblical text and stuff, especially and I'm not talking like Old Testament, but New Testament with Christ and stuff, like it seems so unrealistic that it's got to be a story and it's got to be it's true, and a lot of these things are doing this. It's that hidden in plain sight bull crap. I don't want to cuss, but yeah, it's that hidden in plain sight crap, and because they go, no one's going to believe you, even if you do tell somebody, no one's going to believe you. Yeah,
I'm going to talk about some things on tomorrow night on Rumble. I'm going to get into some things, and I'm going to tell you, there's things that I can say on there that I can't say on here.
Exactly. That's why I didn't want to. Yeah, that's why I didn't want to say it. Yeah. But Rumble's a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rumble's a lot more free speech than, I guess you would call it, publicly scrutinized by corporation.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, when you stop and you look at all these reports and you take them together, that's when I had, I'd say about 2 years ago, I was going through a little bit of sleeplessness, and I was having some issues. And my wife was like, "What's going on? What's wrong?" And I said, "I'm just like, I've hit a wall with these stories." I was just like, I couldn't take it anymore. There was so much. And I felt this sense of helplessness, like I couldn't do anything for these people. What's going on with them? I couldn't do anything about it. And she's like, "That's not your job." She's like, "Your job is to get the information out there." And it got harder. It got harder. And the more you learn and the more you talk about these things, the harder it gets.
Yeah.
And then they just keep coming. I noticed, like with Abe, his channel, he's doing pretty good. You're getting views and things, and people, but they love to go in there and they troll, and they don't even know why they're doing it. They're doing it because they're spiritually obsessed upon. Because you're telling the truth. And then Monica, you too. It's all of you. You're all going to be, you're going to be attacked. And when I was with the Blondes and Booze yesterday, Krista and Brandy, and we were talking with Christopher Jordan. I was the only non-blonde there last night. Christopher Jordan's got the strawberry blonde hair. And here I show up like, "Hey, guys.
The one
non-blonde. It's good food head here. What's going on?"
One non-blonde. What's going on?
One non-blonde. But here's the thing. I'm going to say something about this too. Blonde-haired people actually have a very high IQ. There's this big joke. They say blondes or whatever. You know where that comes from? It comes from propaganda, and also comes from the fact that goofy people will dye their hair blonde so they can get more attention. But those aren't real natural blondes. Natural blondes are actually Nordics that come from a bloodline of geniuses. I'm not joking. They're some of the smartest people on the planet. But one of the things that I noticed, like last night when we were talking, like, when Jordan was really flowing and getting into the groove of what he had to say, and we were all talking back and forth or whatever, I didn't see it for myself, but I could feel like this hatred coming off of the audience see Abe's nose. You feel it. Because when you start flowing and saying things, it's like it hurts them. Like there's some kind of Pavlov dog, thing going on there, and the dog is like and so I wake up to a horrific message, somebody saying something nasty and mean, and I was like, yes, good, I reached you, you heard me. And then another one said something, I can't remember what it was, something snarky. I was telling Anthony earlier, about it. And it was just like these people, they say these things, and it's so funny because it's like if I put you on blast and say how stupid you sound, the things that you say, and they do what they do, and and it's. I told Anthony and Nelly and Tony, I was like, we're gonna make a hall of shame for the stupid comments that these people make, the things that they say. And you want to be heard, I'll make you heard, and everybody's gonna laugh at you. Because you have the retardation, and that's it's sad, But as soon as somebody does, like when Abe is on his show at night, I watch him, and they'll come in there and start saying all kinds of little crap. And then they're like demons. They don't just come with one. They bring a little pack of grapes.
Army.
I already know who it is that's doing that. I told them one, because it was when it's like it was a spiritual battle. Even though I was doing the video, I started seeing all kinds of things happening around. So I looked at the camera and I told them, because they showed up, and I said, you know why been having you so long without booting you off? And I looked at the camera and I said, I type on and rebuke in Jesus Christ's name. For anything negative you've been trying to do to me, to go back to you 7 times fold. Once I said that, they got off. All of them got off.
Like flies.
All of them got off.
Yeah.
They left.
One of them I know that's been after you. He professes to be such a Christian, and the people that follow him, like the lady that looks like the chick from Minions, what's it called? The Despicable Me. I just want to say that I'm not a part of PRT. I don't support PRT. No shit, lady. We know you don't. We know you support the Despicable Me guy. You're his sidekick, right? Just the psychologist had to stop spewing her venom. And imagine that is your psychologist. Imagine she's sitting down and she's like, "Are you cutting yourself? Here's a razor. I'd be normal brain.
We've had
People
worse,
cut
Wolf.
themselves. Do it. And then Oyster Mouth's over there going, "Oh, yeah, do it, lady. I want to see the lady." That's what I imagine. I don't know if that's really what's going on. Just assuming that's probably
It's
because
probably
I know
like
they
this.
watch me religiously.
Oh, boys like this over there says, "See you soon." And he's got all the roaches on his head and his back.
They're like in cornrows, like roach rows.
See you soon. I'll be like with a raid. I'll be
alone, man. Yeah.
The kind of raid.
And the cabeza de la pelón, he's got it on his head. It's all over his head. That's his hair. It's like Medusa has the snakes.
Yeah, I think we call him the Roach King.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, roaches represent pestilence.
Yeah, that's right. La cucaracha.
Yeah, he said, "See you soon." That's okay. I'll be waiting, spiritually or physically.
Yeah, he's
By the way, I'm gonna get you.
It's funny.
Yeah, they're real disrespectful. They want to use a fear factor, or they say, "Hey, I hope you got a gun," like trying to threaten me, like whatever, however you want to come. Say, I'll just handle it accordingly to the threat. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's like they try to use. To me, I think that they belong to a cult, honestly. And when I bring Jesus Christ in the picture, they get offended because, I try to use goodness over negativity, and they get mad because, I give people advice, trying to awaken them spiritually, and it's working, and they get pissed off because that means that the scare tactics and whatever they're trying to do through witchcraft and necromancy is not working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people too,
people are
they're doing
awakening
it
spiritually.
Well, Abe, you know this as well as I do. Monica, Joe, you all do. That they do this like NPCs, like the non-playable characters that they are. They don't even know why they're doing it. They're doing it, and they're just like, I don't even know why I did. They don't.
Yeah.
I cornered somebody one time who was going around saying all kinds of stuff downtown, and I was right in his face. When the monster's in your face, it's a lot different story.
Yeah.
You act all big and bad and puffed up with pride until that person's in your face and you're faced with the questions. And I said, "Why did you do it?" He goes, "I don't even know." He couldn't tell me why.
Right.
He couldn't say why he was saying the things he did. He didn't know why he was doing the things he did. And he goes, "I don't know." And then he blurted out jealousy. I was like, "So you're admitting that you're jealous?" I was like, "Wow, at least you did that." And because of that, I did not break his rib cage. That's not, this is another life, a different person, not now who I am now.
Yeah.
But that person would have had no problem doing something to this guy. But he was upfront and he said, "Look, I was jealous." And when he admitted that to me, and I said, it takes a lot to be, at least to admit to that.
Right.
I think also drugs played a part in his thing, but these people, the trick is don't let the drugs do you. You do the drugs. No,
right.
Seriously, this guy, he was he was bad, man. And when you got somebody like that, he's going around saying all these awful things. And I had done things to people that were doing that back in the day. There was a DJ that was going around telling everybody he was going to beat me up. And he was training. He was going around training, talking about, yeah, I'm going to fight this guy. I'm going to do this and do that. And then all it took was me grabbing his hand and breaking his fingers. And then they weren't even a fight. It's just like, that was it.
Sure.
And sometimes people, they don't understand the consequences. And then they're completely shocked when the consequences slap them upside the head. They're going like, it's like, dude, did you think this was free? You got to pay for everything you do, man. There is no free lunch. I'm sorry. And then they don't want to work either. That's another thing. People don't want to work. They think that they're supposed to it's like, oh, yeah, that's a lot of work. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think this is?
On the same institute, like it's like, it's kind of like the same as like, the, Antoine LaVey, Satanist kind of thing, where they get it mixed up. Like, yeah, they are the roaches of it, but God, the creator, created roaches for a reason, for the harboring of trash and for the, so yeah, you are, even though you want to try to not be a part of it, you are literally created for a reason. And the way you're entertaining your lifestyle and the way you're being about it isn't really for the Hasatan. It's really, you're serving God's purpose because God purposely made it for a reason. And you're mimicking it, but you think it's in an adversary type of way, but it's really not. You're really serving the Lord's purpose because he created all that, and you're mimicking that. And so even though you're like, yeah, I don't like the narrative, you're still serving the narrative, and you're being a dumbass. Sorry.
It's true. I mean, it's true though. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I'll let them stay on the channel and say whatever they're going to say. I ask them questions. They don't and they already know they're just to interrupt. But the main thing they do that is because I do it late at night, between 1 to 3 in the morning, sometimes 4, depends how the Holy Spirit is feeling. So when I do that and they come at me like trying to say something negative or something bad, they want me to be like, take it offensively, and I don't, because I'm not allowing it to affect my heart. So then after I see that they really don't want to cooperate within the chat, I just put them out. But that's that time frame because of the hour. So I'm careful. I'm not being upset or anything like that because those are spiritual openings around that time frame. Yeah. But that's why they do that, because if they practice something like that, or that's what they believe in, they think that, that's where they're the strongest at that time frame, between 1 and 4 in the morning. Mm-hmm. So they come at me a certain way, it's kind of like they get deceived, like I was explaining to people in my group, is like somebody can make a deal with something and nothing force can lift up a bottle and you going like this because they think you got some powers. The bottle lifts and you're thinking, oh, I made the bottle lift, but it's not you making the bottle lift. It's the unseen forces that don't make it lift. And if something happens that individual, karma comes back to them because somebody's protected, you're getting protected by their Heavenly Father, and they made a deal for 3-4 years, and it's the first couple of months, and 7 times 4 went back to them. The demons that made the deal with them, they ain't going to say, okay, you still got more time. No, they're going to say, okay, deal done. They collect the spirit, collect their soul. But they get deceived, because they think they have some power, but they really don't.
They don't, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's about the belief factor and whatever, whatever it wants to,
Yeah, deception is the key. That's the,
well, that's what NASA is deception.
Oh, yeah. It literally is.
Put it in plain sight. They do that. Look at the monster logo.
Yeah.
The monster logo is
monster
Hebrew.
logo. Yeah, that's Hebrew. Right.
Yeah, I see one in NASA where they got the a towel, and he's got water. Some water's going up, and then some water's going down. It's like,
Yeah.
okay,
That's why
because it's supposed to be the water going up, right? Some water from the towel is dripping down.
If you take NASA and jumble the letters, it spells Satan without the T, and that's why they say T minus.
That,
T minus.
I've heard that too. That's another one. You know, people say, "Well, that's a stretch." Not for them.
No.
You don't know what you're dealing with. If you think that these people
that's,
aren't what they are, you're crazy. I mean, that's,
right. Nasa literally means deception in Hebrew.
Deception in Hebrew, yeah.
Yeah.
So, folks, we're going to do a giveaway. We're going to do the giveaway, and then we're going to bounce. So we got a bunch of stuff we're going to give away. We're going to do some stuff here. Let's see here. Blondes and Booze wanted to give away. They wanted to give away a $40 for their merch. Now, my phone went dead, so I can't read what they gave me. But it's like a $40 gift so that you can get merch from their store. I believe they have a store now. And so that's cool. I don't even have a Blondes and Booze shirt. I need to get one. I need to get a Blondes and Booze shirt.
Me too.
When you get bigger, Abe and Joe and Monica, I need to get I need to get your clothes too. We got to see what you got.
I can't
see what you got. You know what's cool? At the Mothman Festival, Nick Redfern, Ken Garrett, and Lyle Blackburn all wore PRT shirts. And Lyle said that one guy came up to him and was like, "Oh, cool, you're a PRT fan." He's there talking to Lyle Blackburn. He's like, "Oh, it's cool." He just kind of walked off. And Lyle's a nice guy. He just laughed about it. He was just like, it was weird. You know, it's like, this guy don't say, "Hey, you're Lyle Blackburn." He's like, "Oh, you watch PRT."
Yeah.
I officiated a wedding a couple years back, and it was right outside of Dallas, Texas, and I was talking to these kids about PRT, and they're like, "Oh, you know PRT, man?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, blah blah blah." And they were all. It was in Midland. Yeah, I think it was Midland, Texas. But yeah, you got a bunch of cats there that love your stuff, man.
Yeah, because I think on the 15 platforms altogether, we had like 89,000 or something. It's crazy.
Oh, wow.
Number. It's actually a lot higher than just YouTube because we have the platforms. We're on like 15, 16 different platforms. And so, you have a large audience because a lot of people don't watch the YouTube. So, that's deceptive too in itself when you not on purpose, but the views that you get on YouTube, that's not indicative of how big Paranormal Roundtable is. It's just that's where we do our most work, but we were dropping podcast episodes on all those other platforms, and it was free, and it still is. But now we're monetized on three of them. The rest of them we're not, but it doesn't matter as long as people hear it. That's all that matters. I like telling the encounters and letting people decide for themselves. I never started this as a money making venture. And I don't, it's not, I don't put it behind a paywall, but we got to be able to afford to keep the show going. And I got to be able to afford to take time off of work. That's the thing I tell people. And sometimes I got to ask, hey, I need some equipment. So we need camera equipment to go out into the whatever, because I had to spend money on this freaking legal stuff because these people don't want to stop. They want to be, disruptive. They're like the kids in the class that are disrupting everybody, but it'll settle down and we'll be fine.
They need some chingazos, man.
and the chancla too. And they always want to talk about la cuarta. Like, shut up, man. Like you said about the bullet's gonna go talking about the gun, like vulture gun is gonna go the sideways. Yeah, I heard that the other night when you said that. I couldn't stop laughing. I was watching it with Nelly. Folks, check out Abe. He's funny. He comes on late at night, and Monica, you come on Thursdays right before Blondes and Booze.
Actually, I'm changing my time. I'm switching over to after Blondes and Booze.
Really? So you're gonna come on after us?
Yeah, I'm gonna come on at 10.
Oh, okay, great. Then I guess I can't go live for y'all anymore because Monica wants to plug it up. That's fine. Whatever.
Sorry, you can hop on my show if you want.
I'm good. I don't want to be on that bullshit.
You're like, no, I don't want.
I'll put one on my phone and one on my TV. I'll just switch back.
You know how I want to steal everybody's thunder. You know how greedy I am.
I do the graveyard shift with the night owls.
The night owls. It's all about me. I'm the narcissist.
Oh man.
You know what's really weird though? There's like this correlation between what they've been saying, calling me a despot and calling me a dictator and all this stuff. Go look at the things in PRT news that they say they call me, and it's really weird because the ones these three in particular. Look at Brutus and Pompey. You look at the correlation there, and then Anthony. He's Mark Anthony. That's Anthony. He's my protege. He's Anthony. It's Mark Anthony. And here he is right here. And so, here we got, I'm the dictator. So are they going to stab me on the Senate floor? Is that what it is? They said that I'm this and I'm that. So they're admitting that they're the traitors when they say those things, because everything they're saying and doing is analogous to the killing of Caesar. So I thought about from my 35,000 thing, I was going to come out like wearing like this wreath, and be like, oh.
Well, they missed the Ides of March because they're too stupid to know what that means. So
yeah, the Ides of March. Yeah, it would be the Ides of May.
Yeah, you know what you get when you cross a penis and a potato? A dictator.
Dictator. Man, there used to be this guy that was called Dictator. Played Age of Empires against. That dude was cold-blooded on that game. I said, "You're cold-blooded, man, but your nickname is too funny. I can't stop laughing about it." Somebody said here, hacking is poetry. Poetry is magic. Says Monica Rollins, why your show is so short? Should be a bit longer. Well, that's why she's going to After Blondes and Booze, so she can go way into the night.
Well, it's so short, yes, because I had to cut it off before Blondes and Booze, and I couldn't go on earlier because I have over an hour commute, and I don't get off work until like 6 o'clock. So I'm like sneaking out the door early to get there to be on the show at 7. So we're just enough of that. It's going to 10. So tune in next week. I'll probably be on a lot longer.
Yeah.
All right.
PRT Taskmaster.
What?
The other night when I got on with Blondes and Booze, when Chris Kramer was on, and I was not feeling good at all. I had this dizzying headache, and I felt lightheaded. I got on briefly, and I put on there Nobody as my name, and I put CEO of Suffering. I was only on there for a little while. I got off. So what we're going to do, we're going to go around the horn, and you guys, now guys that are in the chat, don't lie. If you've never won, we're going to start off people who haven't won. Okay. If you haven't won a giveaway, the first thing we're going to give away is one of Barton Nunley's books, right, Anthony?
Yeah.
So we're going to give away one of Barton Nunley's books. I think we have some of those hardcover and humanoids still, don't we?
I'm looking for one.
Just look like you.
We have a hardcover Mysterious Kentucky. I don't know if we have
Mysterious Kentucky hardcover. Do we have?
We got this one right here.
Oh. Yeah, there you go. So that's the first thing we're going to give away. So if somebody wants an autographed hardcover of Mysterious Kentucky, which is Barton Nunley's book,
to show it up better on yours.
Where it is, and it's signed right there. You can see it's signed. Oh, is that the signature? There it is. Yep. So that's the first thing we're gonna do a giveaway on. So and don't be upset if we get it all mixed up and just give you whatever the hell. Just deal with it. All right. I'm tired of people complaining.
Yeah, you finally won. Just be happy.
Be happy, right? Be happy. So that's what I'm gonna give away. That's the first thing I'm gonna do. And then the next thing is a PRT hat. So we're going to have to write these people down. So you give me your information, folks. As soon as we are done with the show, do this or you will not get it. I'm not joking because we have too many people. We got 20-something mail-offs to do tomorrow.
Yeah, if you win the hat, you get to win this one. And I haven't showered today. So
good for you. That's awesome. I'm glad you did that. You worked out last night. Good. That's good. You didn't shower, right?
Yeah, and I think I probably have lice too.
Lice?
So. It's more personal than it's more personal than if I sign it. You get a piece of me with you.
We're going to throw those in for free.
Yeah, you get to have my
nice. Rich Sykes says never won, but I want the hat. So Rich Sykes, Rich wants the hat. He's never won. So I haven't chosen anybody yet, but we got a bunch of people here saying that they've never won. Here. Let me see. Well, Joe be lying. He over here. I'm in the chat. No, you ain't. No, who is this Joe Breezy guy? What's he up to? There's an unsavory look about him.
It was worth a shot.
You have to throw your hat in the ring.
Trust him.
No pun intended. So, okay. So TN Ridge Runner says never won anything, and this other one L says never won. Jesse H says I've never won. So these are a bunch of people who've never won. And then Bigfoot Michigan Rob says he'll donate a book. Okay, so Bigfoot Rob. So we'll do yours next. But first, let's get Barton's book. Who wants Barton's book here? Raise your hand in the chat. Want an ink pen for sure. Love Cat, you want an ink pen? Love Cat, you've never won
one of those Texas-sized ink pens. I already have it set aside for her.
Yeah. Oh, so she's already got something coming.
Yeah.
Okay, get out of here, Love Cat. You know what's up. You're one of the old school. You know what's up. So L says Barton. Who is L? So I'll choose you, L. Very simple and to the point. L. We'll give you Barton's book. Have you won before? That's the only thing. So
I don't remember someone named L winning.
So make sure you send us your information, Josh Turner at prtpodcast.com. And don't forget, folks, when we were talking about the song earlier, please go to Paranormal Soundtable and subscribe. Subscribe to Paranormal Soundtable and the music that we're making. It's all paranormal based, whatever. So go check it out, Paranormal Soundtable. And also, please, if you find it in your heart, join the Patreon and help us out. It helps. It does a lot to help the show. So we have a $10, $20, $30, $40, $50 tier, and everybody knows that you get really cool prizes. We got like bunches of them we're mailing out tomorrow, bunch of stuff. And I love it. I'm happy to do it. We got the green light to go back and start doing the giveaways again. We were told to chill out because of somebody had done something, whatever, but we're back. So L says, I have experience also. What does that mean? Yay, thank you, no.
They have a special set of skills.
You have a special set of skills. I read Barton's books in Liam Neeson's voice.
I will read them and I will find you.
Yeah. If you're reading Barton's book and you say my name, I'll show up and stab you. Okay. Be careful. I'm the slender stab man. Okay. So, all right. So we got L. L, you got it. You got the book. All right. You win the book. The hat. Pick a hat, Anthony. Do we have a hat in there you can pick?
Yeah, we have a couple of the hats that were set aside for the Patreon people, but we have some here. Hang on.
I have this hat.
We got these right here.
I like that.
We take it out. Take them out. Let's see what they look like. What are we doing?
Well,
here?
I mean, it's just one that I'm wearing. I mean, like, awesome. We have a whole bag full of these hats. This hat that I'm wearing.
Okay, good. Then we have that. Then we'll give that because I know we got hats. So So we're gonna give away a hat to who gets the hat. Now I'm gonna let you, Monica, because you're wearing the cool hat. You got your husband's hat on. So thank Monica's husband for the hat. Pick somebody from there that says that they haven't won. Say you haven't won.
We have a female winner. We have some low profile hats here too. So.
I don't wear hats. I only threw one on because
Monica
was alone.
Ivy Ramirez.
So Ivy?
Yep.
Okay, so Ivy, you won a hat. You won the hat giveaway. And then the next thing we're going to do we still have, and it's too hot now for hoodies, so we're not going to give those away tonight. Unless you're a woman that likes to just lounge around in the cold and complain that it's too cold in the house, that's one thing that people do. See, look, Monica raised her hand. Women are always cold. Like, I'm cold. It's summertime.
My AC is
woman's winter.
I'm reptilian. I need hoodies all the time. Keep me warm.
So I'm going to let you, Abe, you pick the next winner. So we're going to give away. What do we got for shirts, Anthony? Let's see what we got.
We got a bunch of different designs, but I mean, it really just depends on what size they wear. Because
we're out of some sizes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like we have pretty much like any size, but it's just we don't have every design in every size. We don't have like all
y'all lied to
colors
me.
and stuff.
Okay, see, I don't know what's going on. Him and Tony just be saying all kinds. Tony's like, I don't know. The shirt's all dyed. I don't know. Okay, whatever. You don't know what's going on with that dude.
Icy hot patch.
Icy hot patch. So, Abe, pick somebody for the shirt giveaway. Let's do that. There's a bunch of people in here.
What are the names that are popping up? Because I don't see nobody right now.
Oh, okay. So we got Steampunk 369. We got Larry Cowley, Alex Wright, but he says he wants my hat.
Alex Wright.
He said he wants my hat, so that's not.
Is it Alex Wright?
Yeah, Alex Wright is one of them.
I pick Alex Wright.
Alex, have you won? Because you didn't say whether you won or not. If you haven't won before, then you win.
If you don't answer, you don't win.
Maybe he's typing.
We need like the Jeopardy music.
Yeah, that's like.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a couple minutes to answer, Alex. But
if you're flipping away, Alex. Okay,
there he goes. He said, "No, I haven't." So, Alex, you win. So make sure you guys send me the email to joshturner@prtpodcast.com. If you send that to me, and I can know that you won or not, or tell me that what you won.
If you want a shirt, you got to let us know what your size is.
Let us know what your size is, because we can't read your mind.
It's size 4X, and send it to Joe Breezy, care of.
So you were a 4?
Yeah, I was a 4. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm 90s kid, so I'm baggy.
Yeah, you always wear the baggy stuff, right?
Yeah, you know me.
No, you probably still got the Gene Co jeans, huh?
Oh, I'm wearing them right now.
Yeah, Gene Co, Mark Echo.
Yeah. No, I was never a Mark Echo fan, but yeah, I'm still rocking Jinkos. Yeah. No, Z Cavarici and
oh my gosh.
Z Cavarici. Oh my gosh. Jabots. Did we wear the Jabots? I had a pair of Guess jeans back in the day.
Yeah, I had Jabots. Yeah. You can't find them anymore, but you can still find
Jabots are gone. Those are done. You know, they lasted another 20 years though in France.
They did. They were European jeans. Yeah, that was crazy.
So we got 3 people who've given away. So now, Joe, it's your turn to pick somebody.
Okay. Oh, Smurfs pick cross colors. So, Smurf, have you ever won anything? If not, don't lie. Because cross colors really hit a point with me. Okay.
So Smurfy, we're waiting on Smurfy to answer. And I'm going to pick somebody else too for a hat giveaway. Josh Casto, I'm going to send you a hat, brother.
Smurfy only wins a beating.
Like Jay says, I only win a beating. So Smurfy, you win.
All right, yeah.
So email me, Smurfy, and Josh. I'm giving you a hat too. So email me and let me know what you won, and so we can get it out to you and we can send it to you.
Yeah, that's my go for it.
So so now this is for the $40 giveaway. You're gonna have to talk to the Blondes and Booze about that. So what you're gonna have to do is on Thursday, we'll if you come into the chat on Thursday at Blondes and Booze, if you win, just come to the chat and say, hey, I won, and make sure.
Yeah.
And then we'll give them your. Yeah, you can email me too. Email me, say, hey, I won the Blondes and Booze giveaway on Thursday. I'll announce your name. I'll announce you in the chat, and then you can get the information so that they can send it to you. Spillin' T says, would love that, pretty please. What do you need, Spillin'? What do you need? Let me know what you need. You and Sugar Britches are the best moderators.
They throw wrenches like nobody's business.
Yeah, they're good. Love Cat too. All y'all good moderators here. So what do we got here? who wants to get the gift certificate to get some merchandise from Blondes and Booze? Let me know. I was just about to say, because Larry just became a member, I was going to say we're going to do a member giveaway. So if you're a member, we're going to do a big member giveaway on Sunday, because we're going to do giveaways tomorrow on Rumble too, because tomorrow on Rumble, it's the beginning of our premiere on Rumble on live. So be there tomorrow night for the Rumble. So Poncho George says Paranormal Roundtable. Who wouldn't want Blondes and Booze stuff? Have you won, Poncho? Anything before? Because that's one thing. Okay, so Poncho, then you win. You win that, because I know that you are a Blondes and Booze fan. I've seen you in their chat many times. So you get that. Email me, let me know, and then we'll announce it on Thursday, and we'll make sure that you get your stuff. And now we got the book giveaway from BMR. He's giving away one of his books. Who wants one of his books? Joe, you know you can just come by the studio. You, Abe, and Monica can come by anytime you want. Just take what you want from here. You don't have to go. You don't live that far. In fact, next time we do Friday, just come to the studio and be here. Like, whatever. You don't have to.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
It's not enough for Joe that he wins, though. Someone else has to lose. Like he has to take it from someone. Not enough that I should succeed. Others should fail.
Show you right.
Yeah. He would have been a big hit at the Player Haters Ball.
At the Player Haters Ball. Buck nasty. Two Shadows, have you ever won anything? As I said, I bought a book, but an autograph one would be cool. Yeah, and those are autographed by BMR. I believe he will take care of that. I'll have him send it to you. Remember, if you're in Britain too, and you're one of our British listeners, I have a deal made with Deborah Hatswell and with Paul Sinclair so that they can send you something.
Well, you also got to come out and hang out at the gas station and get some.
Dude, I wish we could get time, but once we get that equipment deal, we're definitely going to go out to Cistern and look for this Bigfoot creature. There's been 2 sightings of it now. Well, we need to go out to Lawrence Cemetery.
Yeah, that dude Richard Woody, he's totally down. He's going to bring his drone. Yeah, he's about it. So
he's got a drone and everything. But that's the thing, though. I want to make sure that whatever footage we capture, it's from us. I want to be able to put it on my show and not have to ask somebody else for it. He's welcome to go and film too.
No, he's offering up. He's offering up the footage for all
good.
of it.
As long as that there's no issues. Whatever.
Yeah, no, there's none of that. No crap. Yeah, he's and tomorrow night I'm going to be doing a show with him. We're going to do that. What is it? The Wonderland right there, and we're also going to do like the most 500 places. Probably do like Goliad. What was the
Goliad would be fun, dude. We should take a road trip to Goliad. That would be incredible. I used the restroom in that place and I felt like something touched my back. I'm not even joking.
Creepy.
Remember that, Anthony? We were headed to the coast.
Yeah,
dude, in the Mission across the street from there, man. And then I had somebody tell me that they used to have to go through there and do like a guard deal, like they would, because they had gotten vandalized one summer back in like 2005 or something, and they went through there and they saw some weird stuff. I need to talk about that one day at the Goliad and the Missions. We should do the whole thing. And I actually talked to the people there, and they were kind of down. They were like, "Yeah, that'd be cool," And it's like, well, I don't have any equipment to do it, but yeah, I would love to do that.
Yeah, no, he's about it, dude. He's watched the show, and he's like, dude, whatever y'all need from me, I'll bring all the equipment out. We'll do B-reels and the whole 9 yards, and everybody's got I wouldn't say copyrights or whatever. I don't know how you want to call it, but everyone's got privacy to it. So yeah, we can hash it out.
Tennessee Ridge Runner, have you won before? Because you're a member, and we don't really have anything to give the members, and so I'm going to start doing the giveaways where we do like a members giveaway. So it's real cheap to become a member too, right, Anthony? It's not very much.
Yeah, it's just like it's $5 a month.
Yeah. So if you want to support the show with $5 a month, and then you can be qualified to do the giveaway. So we're going to do it that way. We're going to do a giveaway on Sundays for members only. We're going to do it all through the month of May. I've had a lot of death happen in the month of May, and I'm not going to let it bring me down because I love the people that passed away. But I'm going to be, I'm going to do just like in December, I've had people pass away, but I still celebrate and do, Christmas and ever. So I'm going to try to keep my head up. And there's been some rough stuff happen this month so far already, but I'm not going to let it get me down. Tennessee Ridge Runner says, "No, sir, it's all good, brother. I just appreciate y'all." So I will do this. If you show up, Ridge Runner, on Sunday, when we do the giveaway on Sunday, you got something automatically. You show up, you're a member, okay? Because we've already given away, I think, 5 or whatever the thing is. But did you do one, Anthony? Did you give something to anybody?
Not yet, no.
Okay, well then pick somebody. Ridge Runner, all you got to do is show up in the chat on Sunday, and you got something. Don't worry.
I don't know if he's still here, but he kept posting the same comment about Antonio Banderas. He was like,
about him being a reptilian because of the weird eye thing.
Yeah, he was desperate to have that comment up on the screen. I felt bad for him, but Calico Jack, if you're still here, and you haven't won yet, and you can agree to not spam the chat with the same comment over and over, then you win. Okay.
Calico messaged me the other day with some story. I remember that.
I'm watching you.
Every comment you make, I'm watching you.
Somebody
said that about Monica the other day. They messaged me and they were like, "I'm so glad you have a beautiful woman on there." And I was like, "What? I'm not a woman. What are you talking about?" I just heard the word beautiful and I was like, "What?" No. But then they said Monica. I was like, get out of here, whatever. It's all about me. Right? Like Tupac said, all eyes on me, me.
Me here.
I'm like, Jin, get out of the room. Go.
You're like, get out here, like, clean my room. Look, I wear my sunglasses at night. That's funny. When we were eating, remember we were eating dinner with Ken and Ann in San Antonio, and Ken started singing that song.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't know why I picked that one. He just started singing. We were talking about 80s music, and he just started singing it at the table. And he's a pretty good singer. You'll see, because he's going to do one of our songs. He's actually a pretty good singer.
Ken,
Ken has a song that my wife has on her, what's it called? The playlist or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was jamming to it one day. this is no bullcrap. I was jamming. I was, this is a good song. Who is this? She goes, that's your friend. That's Ken. I go, what? So then we were talking about it, and Ken's very humble about it. He don't even talk about it. Like,
he used to go on tour and everything.
Yeah.
Dude, it's funny, man. I was recently listening to old 80s music once again, and Your Love, Josie's on a vacation far away. Yeah, and I listened to the lyrics, and I was like listening to the lyrics, and I'm like, dude, that's all about a dude like cheating.
Yes.
And I was like, what? I was like, I've never even
come around and watch Netflix. So many shows we can choose from. We're not going to watch it. We're just going to have some fun.
Did you call that old people music?
Old people
music. Did you call that old people music?
Dude, Abe, are you listening to this? Come on now. You heard this called us old.
Offensive.
Huh?
He's calling us old. He's old people music. Come on.
I'm like, huh?
He's like, hey, where was that, Sonny? Your kids and your flying machines? Yeah, that's you, buddy.
I only got 5 grandkids. I'm not old.
Joe does have. You really do. You have a full head of hair. Hey, ain't none of us bald. At least that's the thing.
I got a 6 head, but
a 6 head.
I took out
Abe
the
thinks
white.
is high and tight, but Abe's got hair. I got hair. I got a full head of hair. And mine's not. It's barely graying. I'm fortunate with that. That is like genetics right there, brother. Thank God. I mean, I look at my friends and they're like, they look old.
I know, dude.
And I'm like, you're younger than me, man. Y'all look rough, bro. And I'm like, I don't have a bunch of wrinkles. I made a joke the other day. You know, Sandra Bullock's Bullock's. I actually met her. I shouldn't talk like. Okay, so
she's
Sandra
awesome,
Bullock, she had this. She said about the foreskin treatment or whatever. So I was talking to these people the other day, and this lady was like, "You look young for 40. I can't believe how young you look." And Anthony's standing right there, and I was like, "Yeah, it's that Sandra Bullock foreskin treatment. You know, the Korean foreskin." She's just like, look at him. He goes, "Well, it works, huh?" I said, "Yeah, it does. It does. You have to eat a lot of them, though. You really do." He's looking at me in abject horror, and Anthony was trying not to laugh, and I was just like, I said, "I'm joking. I'm joking." I was like, "It's just no. I'm not eating that." Okay, that's what these people do, though. He literally was talking on some show like Oprah or something like, "Yeah, you this treatment," and I'm like, "You don't think that's weird? You don't think that's totally jacked up? Whatever. Okay, whatever.
Hey.
You know, like you got to eat that elk penis." Can't eat all of it. So, who do we got, Anthony? You picked Calico Jack. So, if Jack is not available, who do we got?
No, he's there.
Okay, good. We got everybody. All right.
Yes,
So, we're going to do a members only giveaway on Sunday. So, we got to give them something. We got to do something because we're not going to we're not going to do special content for members because I do not put anything behind a paywall. Some people can't afford it, and I understand that. Not everybody's like Liberty. Not everybody's got that good tax return like he did. But I want to thank the people that donated tonight. The DJ Tyler, Audacious Amber, Tennessee Ridge Runner, Darker Leaf, Eve Air, Donnie Cho, Kate Hunter, Liberty 1776, Bigfoot Michigan Rob, Nicholas Bravo, Two Shadows, Spillin' Tea for the membership gifts, and Larry Cowley. So thank you, folks. Thank you for being here. And Spillin' Tea, just send me whatever you want. You know, we'll give it to you. You're one of our mods. Mods, you have whatever you want. Just tell me if you're a mod for the show. You send me what you want. You tell me you got it. Okay, you don't gotta be in part of the contest, whatever. Except for Madeline. Madeline is a troublemaker. We don't want that. You've been harassed a lot. There's a reason for it. You be like sending out bad energy. I don't want that.
Right.
I want that in my life.
I mean, anyone shorter than like probably 5'4", you just can't trust them.
Okay, my wife is shorter than that. You better watch yourself, boy.
Yeah,
I'm not going to watch out for her. Nelly will hit you with that chocolate too. She's half Mexican. She'll throw half a chocolate at you.
If your height starts with a 5, I just got to keep an eye on you.
Yeah, Jen's gonna totally flip on that one. Be like, "Don't F you." I won't even spell it.
Jen's sweet. She's cute. She's a cute kid. You called her the millennial the other day. You're like, you are a millennial. I was like, geez. All right, folks. So we had a good time tonight. We got the giveaways. So you send it to the Josh Turner PRT podcast, and that crazy guy that says all kinds of wacky stuff, he'll probably send you something, right? Probably. And so if he doesn't, though, I blame the guy below me, that dude down there, right? That dude, jihadist down there, that guy. So anyways, folks, thank you for tuning in. We had a great time. Thank you to my guests, Abe, or not guests, but my co-hosts, Abe and Joe and Anthony. Thank you. Monica Lizard. Thank you, Monica Lizard. That's the best we came up with. So you're going like, great.
That's the best one that is the
best. That's all we got. Other people got cool names. I gotta go. Well, what do you want from me? That's what I got. That's all I got. This is the Monica Lizard. I don't got anything else. What do you want? You're like, what do you want? You wanted the pizza? You wanted the Monica
Lizard? I want a better name.
You know what? By the time we come back next Friday, we'll have a better name for you.
Oh, I
Monaco Lizard.
Look, Monica Lizard. That's so rude.
Who was it that said that? It was one of our friends that said that.
Oh, I'll go back to the chat and figure
Yeah.
it out.
It's like I'm gonna hunt you down. Oh yeah, I'm gonna hunt you down.
Yeah,
All
remember,
right,
I'm quiet. So
you
I'm
get
very
the
sneaky.
proverbial pimp hand for that one. All right. So we had a lot of fun tonight. Thank you and congratulations to all the winners. If you get me your information tonight, right now, you better be emailing me that information. And then guess what? You'll get sent, your stuff will get sent out tomorrow because we're going to do a big mail off tomorrow. But right now I got to go run patrol. Can you believe that? I got to go to work and I got to work until 7 a.m. But you know what? I'll be up by noon because I got 2 people I got to interview tomorrow. The Alaskan alien abduction. Avery, I'm coming for you, brother. We're gonna talk tomorrow at noon, brother, and you're gonna lay out your story to me, brother, and it's gonna be the most fantabulous abduction story I've ever heard, brother.
Oh yeah.
He's going like, dude, it was traumatic. Yeah, that's what makes it better for us, not for you, but for us. No, he's good. This guy's got an amazing encounter that happened to him in the woods of Alaska. In the triangle, the Alaskan Triangle. So I met him through one of those people that does a show. So we did a little tit for tat. I gave him a guest, and he gave me somebody. So this guy's Avery. He's got a hell of a story. I got to talk to him tomorrow afternoon. So everybody that donated, thank you very much. We had a great time. This was 35,000 people, which doesn't sound like a whole lot when you compare it to some of these amazing podcasters that have 390,000 fake subs. But yeah, I'm doing what I can, right? They're just real people. That's all it is.
You almost made me spit out my beer.
They're like, oh, holy, he's drinking beer while he's on the show. Another one's a lizard, and the other one's a vampire, one's a werewolf, and one's a jihadist. Good grief. What's wrong with these people? They're all going to be smoking in a hell. Folks, we'll see you. Thank you. I'll be tomorrow night. It's going to be on Rumble. It's going to be good. We're going to be on Rumble. Go to Rumble. Go find PRT on Rumble. We're going to be there. Be there. Be square. Right? That's a rectangle. A square. Right? Rectangle too. Let me see. There we go.
Be there or be a roughly a quadrilateral.
Be a fractal. Be there. Be a fractal.
A hypotenuse.
Yeah. Be some form of polygon.
All right, guys. I will see y'all later. Let me let my esteemed guests go one by one here. Everybody, I'll see you. So, folks, we had a great time. We had fun. T-Toey, look at always coming in at the end there. She said, "Did I get blocked?" No, you're right there, T-Toey. Thank you for that donation. I appreciate it. Everybody who's been so supportive of me at the and the show and everything that y'all have done and made it what it is. 35,000 strong. Not fake, no subs, no BS, none of that. Well, we do BS, but not with the stories, not with the encounters. We're not over here playing around, okay? We're on the edge of everything that needs to be said and done. I'm telling you, we're bringing it. That's why there's all this hate. This is going to keep happening. And I'm just going to go, because I don't care. I don't. You're not going to stop me. And like I said, if these people weren't going after my wife and my family, I wouldn't give a crap what you say about me, because I don't care. You're not going to hurt me. It doesn't matter. Anyways, folks, I love you and good night. We will see you tomorrow night, Rumble.